Chapter 1458. Yu Jin was a stunner, especially that coquettish voice and that pair of slender and smooth legs. She was constantly emitting a charm. Yang Wu's blood was boiling. He pulled Yu Jin over and kissed her on the lip. Yu Jin never thought that Yang Wu would really make a move. No, it was a move of the mouth. Furthermore, the pressure that was transmitted to her was extremely strong, causing her to momentarily forget to escape. Her cherry mouth was blocked by Yang Wu's thick lip. A heavy aura directly entered Yu Jin's heart, leaving her at a loss. Although she was a creature from 10,000 years ago, she had been in a state of suspended animation ever since she was suppressed by the Inheritance Tower. 10,000 years could be completely ignored. Her actual age was already several hundred years old, but she was still one of the most outstanding heaven's prides in the god realm. She was a goddess and had never been profaned by any creature. But now, Yang Wu had actually succeeded. When Yang Wu's palm touched her towering place, she finally reacted and broke free from Yang Wu's embrace. Her charming face was completely angry and angry. Her entire face was flushed red, and her appearance was extremely beautiful. Yang Wu gently stroked his lips and smiled. "This is your request, don't blame this young master." Yu Jin quickly restrained her emotions and smiled. "I'm already young master's woman. As long as you're willing to return my origin soul, I'll let you do whatever you want." She was so mesmerizing that she didn't even have to pay for it with her life. She even released her innate talent of seduction, directly attacking one's heart and controlling it. "Put away your tricks and properly fulfill your promise." Yang Wu ignored her charm and said indifferently. He paused for a moment and cut to the chase. "I want you to accompany me to the war tomb." Yang Wu didn't allow Yu Jin to refuse. He brought her to find Xianyuan Huowu and directly went to the war tomb. Who knew that Yang Taihe would also come along? "Little ancestor, are you still worried about me?" Yang Wu asked Yang Taihe. Yang Taihe shook his head and said, "I've been wanting to enter the war tomb for a long time. Now is the best time." "Training in the war tomb?" Yang Wu asked in surprise. Although the war tomb is a forbidden area, it is also divided into different levels. After reaching the Jade Moon realm, it is much safer to enter. Even if you can't enter the depths, it won't be hard to come out alive. "But you two brats are too daring," Yang Taihe said as he looked at Yang Wu and Xianyuan Huowu. "Haha, don't look down on others," Xianyuan Huowu said with a smile. "Well, anyway, there's nothing wrong with being careful." When Yang Wu saw that Yang Taihe was determined to follow, he did not ask him to return. One more person meant one more chance of success. On the way, Yang Wu asked Xianyuan Huowu if she had any way to find her aunt's location. If she had already fallen inside, wouldn't this trip be in vain? Xianyuan Huowu vowed that her aunt wasn't dead and that she had the means to find her aunt's location. Otherwise, she wouldn't have come. After hearing Xianyuan Huowu's affirmation, he was relieved. She wouldn't trick them, right? Their speed was incomparably fast, and no one dared to stop them. At the piercing realm, who would dare to provoke them if it wasn't a life-and-death feud? Even the piercing realms of the Xing clan and King of Hell's palace would have to think twice. The war tomb was not far from War God City. The two could be considered neighbors in the middle of a barren land. This place was incomparably dangerous, and there were even divine realm existences. Even reaching the war tomb was not easy, let alone entering it. When Yang Wu's group arrived at the barren land, they felt that the demonic energy here was denser than in other places. They were already very close to the war world. The war tomb was a place in the war world from ancient times. Countless heroic spirits of the war race were buried here. Their goal was the war tomb. The fierce beasts here couldn't even touch their butts, so they easily arrived in front of the war tomb. This was a land of ruins. A large area was sunk and sealed by a supreme seal, turning it into a unique war tomb. The 8 war races would hold a spirit sacrifice ceremony here every 100 years. They would use the blood of the devil race to comfort the spirits of their ancestors in the heavens. Since it was not the time for the ceremony, this place was incomparably quiet. There was an ancient altar outside the war tomb's seal. Entering the war tomb was very simple. One only needed to go to the altar and place a saint's stone in the altar's formation to activate it. The Tomb of War was known as a forbidden area. At the same time, it was also a training ground for the 8 great war clans. Occasionally, there would be those who were brave enough to enter. Unfortunately, not many of those who entered were able to come out alive. Because of this, it was known as a forbidden area. No one was afraid of entering. Xianyuan Huowu's aunt, Xianyuan Yujun, was the #1 beauty 1,000 years ago. Her talents were not much worse than Xianyuan Huowu's. In the end, she ended up like this. Many young geniuses of the war race were saddened by her. There were also many young geniuses who entered the war tomb for her. In the end, none of them came out alive. Only then did these hot-blooded youths gradually dispel their thoughts. On this day, the arrival of Yang Wu's group broke the silence. Before they entered, the old woman who had been following Xianyuan Huowu said, "Your Highness, you must think carefully. Granny, don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Moreover, with you by my side, nothing will happen to me." Xianyuan Huowu replied with a smile. "All right." The old woman replied simply. "Then let's go in," Yang Wu said. With a flip of his hand, he took out a large number of saint stones and sent them to the altar's formation eye. Whoosh whoosh. After the altar received the power of the saint stones, a spatial gate opened. Through the spatial gate, one could faintly see the sounds of killing inside. Kill, kill, kill. A surge of killing intent filled the war tomb. Blade light and sword shadows swept out in all directions. It was impossible to tell who was the enemy and who was the ally. Those figures who were fighting wore simple and plain clothes. They were the ancestors of the ancient war clan. Their equipment was simple, but the battle chi they released was incomparably pure and powerful. One after another, the devil race creatures were killed by them. Yang Wu's group was shocked by this scene. This was a real battle, a real war. It was incomparably fierce and cruel. Seeing this scene, Yu Huaijin thought in her heart, "These are the ancestors of the war clan? They were the existences who led the human race step by step from the weakest race to the ranks of the strong?" The war clan's fame spread far and wide in the divine world. Many races wanted to know their secrets, but no one was able to trace their origins. She was actually lucky enough to see the tip of the iceberg here. She was very excited. "Go in," Yang Taihe shouted. The group quickly rushed into the war tomb. After they were sent in, they arrived in front of another formation eye. This was also the way out. If they wanted to leave the war tomb, they would have to come back here again and provide the saint stones. After they entered, they immediately found all kinds of negative emotions rushing towards them. Yang Wu shouted first, "Take the evil-suppressing soul-cleansing pill." Before coming to the war tomb, Yang Wu had already made preparations. The evil-suppressing soul-cleansing pill could allow people to remain clear-headed and not be disturbed by negative emotions. The group didn't hesitate and took the evil-suppressing soul-cleansing pill, pushing away the formless negative emotions. These negative emotions were the formless energy that grew here. It wasn't something that could be isolated by Xian Qi. On the contrary, if one absorbed the energy here, these negative emotions would be accompanied by devil qi. This was the energy left behind by the slaughtered devil race. This desolate place was filled with broken divine weapons. There were also half-exposed skeletons. Countless heroic spirits were buried in this gray ground. Gusts of chilly wind blew past. Evil spirits were coming towards them. These evil spirits were hidden in the wind and were difficult to detect. They only discovered their existence when they came into contact with their defensive power. The most terrifying thing here is the negative emotions. We can't stay here for too long. If we stay here for too long, we'll go crazy and have all kinds of hallucinations. In the end, we'll kill each other. Yang Taihe reminded. That's right. It's best to keep your soul clear at all times. Don't be disturbed. Xianyuan Huowu replied. Don't talk nonsense. Hurry up and sense where your aunt is. Yang Wu urged. For some reason, after Yang Wu entered this place, he had a creepy feeling. He felt that this place contained a great terror. It wasn't as simple as a few heroic spirit. Xianyuan Huowu dripped a drop of blood essence onto an ornament and poured her energy into it. The ornament released an astonishing power and turned into a firebird that flew in a certain direction. Over there, Xianyuan Huowu said excitedly. However, before she could chase after it, a sudden gust of wind blew over and instantly wiped away the power of the ornament. The ornament fell to the ground and dimmed. It's the demon wind. Quickly dodge. The old woman from the Xianyuan clan cried out in alarm. She wrapped around Xianyuan Huowu and hid to the side. She didn't care about Yang Wu, Yang Taihe, and the others. She only had Xianyuan Huowu in her eyes. Yang Wu, Yang Taihe, and Yu Huijin's reactions were not slow as they dodged the incoming demon wind. This terrifying demon wind was the terrifying power left behind by the demon clan. Saint realm creatures would die if they were swept by it. Even God realm creatures wouldn't dare to touch it. Otherwise, the wind would penetrate their xian qi and seep into their bodies. It would corrode their nerves and cause nerve-twitching pain. There's a lot of demon wind here. They're sweeping over. Yang Taihe looked in a certain direction and cried out in alarm. Let's go. The old woman shouted and prepared to leave with Xianyuan Huowu. Xianyuan Huowu shouted, Granny, if you dare to keep them here, I'll hate you to death. Her words were effective. The old woman hesitated. The demon wind isn't easy to deal with. The old woman replied. In the next moment, Yu Huijin attacked. What's this little bit of wind? She faintly said. Her hands formed the shape of a lotus and a moon-lotus-like power swept out. It instantly turned into a majestic power and dispersed the demon wind. Chapter 1459. Yu Huijin's strength was astonishing, much stronger than the old woman. The old woman had never paid attention to Yu Huijin's strength. She thought that even if such a delicate foreign race member had heavenly battle strength, she wouldn't be stronger than her. However, when she made a move, she realized that she had underestimated her strength. She was just afraid that the Yang clan would implicate them, but now she realized that she had been too arrogant. The demon wind is a bit scary, but it's also a power to temper the nerves. As long as you can endure it, there will be some benefits. Yang Taihe said, and actually took the initiative to walk towards the demon wind. Little ancestor, don't be impulsive. Yang Wu called out. Haha, don't worry. This bit of demon wind can't hurt me. Yang Taihe laughed and took the initiative to absorb the demon wind. When the demon wind entered his body, he said without a change in expression, This bit of pain is nothing. In the next moment, even more demon wind was absorbed by him, continuously seeping into his nerves. It was as if there were tens of thousands of poisonous insects corroding his nerve. That kind of pain was unbearable. Yang Taihe had been trapped in the space of Grave Split City for thousands of years. He didn't die even after being burned by the fire. His endurance was astonishing. Moreover, he had a half-dragon body. After taking the Dragon Phoenix pill, he even obtained the Dragon Phoenix body. He could ignore the demon wind's damage. Little ancestor, you can temper your nerves, but don't absorb this power. Yang Wu reminded. I know what to do. Let's go. Yang Taihe replied. Madman. The old woman cursed in a low voice. Others would avoid the demon wind, but Yang Taihe actually absorbed it into his body. It was indeed the work of a madman. Xianyuan Huowu said in admiration, Amazing, amazing. Let's see how we can continue to find people. Being trapped in this place for hundreds of years is not good. Yang Wu said. The hair ornament is my aunt's. It's been corroded, so we can only rely on our senses. Xianyuan Huowu said gloomily. You don't have anything else? No, I only have this one. Alright, then let's see how lucky we are. Yang Wu was speechless, but since he was already here, he didn't want to go back like this. Moreover, this place was indeed very special. Only Yang Taihe could ignore its corrosion. Yang Wu and Xianyuan Huowu couldn't do anything about it. They tried to absorb a little of the Yin demon wind, but it immediately caused them unbearable pain. Only then did they understand how abnormal Yang Taihe's endurance was. When they passed by the Yin devil wind, a large number of Yin devil souls appeared and surrounded them. However, before they could injure them, the heroic spirits of the war race appeared and fought against them. Beasts of the demon race, how dare you invade the territory of the human race? You bastards will die a horrible death for eating the living beings of my human race. Kill all these demons and drive them out of the human world. The heroic spirits of the war race fought against the devil race. The scene of the past appeared once again. When Yang Wu and the others saw this, they couldn't help but feel their blood boil. Kill all these demons! Yang Taihe roared. Xianyuan Huowu also shouted, these man-eating bastards should all die. Yang Taihe, Xianyuan Huowu, the old woman, and Yu Huijin all attacked. They erupted with all their strength and fought against the demons. Yang Wu's battle blood was boiling, but he didn't attack. His immortal root had awakened, and both his body and soul had immortal energy. The power of this place couldn't affect him, and he could still restrain it. He shouted, little ancestor, your highness, control your emotions. They had already taken the pills, but they were still affected by the emotions here. It was enough to show that this place was indeed very strange. Yang Taihe, Xianyuan Huowu, and the others didn't seem to hear him. They were still attacking quickly. What they hit were only afterimages, and there were no living beings here. If this continued, they might kill each other. Wake up! Yang Wu first shook the little soul bell, waking Yu Huijin up. Then, he used all his strength to spit out a dragon's voice, and it fell into the others' ears, causing them to regain their clarity. Yu Huijin woke up, and the others also regained a trace of clarity after hearing Yang Wu's shout. They quickly refined the power of the pills and drove away those emotions. The power here can affect your emotions, don't be disturbed. Yang Wu shouted again. That was close. Yang Taihe, Xianyuan Huowu, and the old woman said by luck. If it wasn't for Yang Wu's ability to ignore the influence of these powers, they would have been buried here. I suggest that everyone use whatever means of defense you have. Don't hide it. Yang Wu reminded. The others nodded silently, and each took out some defensive items to avoid being affected again. Their group continued on their journey, and not long after, they encountered the trouble of death energy. The dense death energy could even take away the vitality of a saint. They were able to resist the power of the death aura, but some of the undead came to life and attacked them. These were corpse transformations. These corpse transformations weren't true corpses, but the remnant negative willpower after death. That stubborn killing intent was still there, and they would attack anyone who approached them. These corpse transformations were very powerful, not inferior to saints. Dozens or hundreds of them surged forward. Even a peak saint wouldn't have an easy time. This was the danger of the Tomb of War. These dangers weren't difficult for the group in front of them. The difficult part was how to find the person they were looking for. In this environment, it was easier said than done for a saint to live for a few hundred years. Yang Wu used the revered 9 mysteries arts to absorb all the death energy. A portion of this energy was purified and entered his dantian, but even more fell into the Tao flower of the divine court, becoming a part of the Tao of life and death. Everyone was no longer surprised by Yang Wu's ability. Soon after, they encountered some terrifying illusions. Large waves of beings charged at them, wanting to tear them apart. They were prepared and saw through the illusions. However, they still felt a lingering fear. The illusions were too realistic, and they felt as if they were being cut into 8 pieces. It was extremely uncomfortable. Even connecting Heaven Realm experts felt strained. One could see how terrifying this place was. We've already gone quite far, but I still haven't sensed any life force. We can't go on like this, Yang Wu said to Xianyuan Huowu. Xianyuan Huowu also revealed an anxious expression. She's definitely not dead. She must be in some corner. Can we go in and take a look? I'll go in with you. Wu, you go out, Yang Taihe said with certainty. No, I'll go with you. We can't give up halfway. Yang Wu said with certainty. He then added, let's go a bit more. If we don't find anything, we'll leave immediately. Xianyuan Huowu nodded and said, okay. This place was too dangerous. The slightest carelessness could cost them their lives. They couldn't go on forever. Yang Wu also didn't have such an obligation. She could also understand. We can't go on like this. The negative emotions inside can already affect us. Moreover, I feel that there's great danger inside. If you don't determine the direction, we'll all die. Yu Huijin said with incomparable certainty. Xianyuan Huowu hesitated for a moment and said, okay, I'll try again. Princess, you can't act recklessly. The old woman said nervously. Granny, it's fine. I'll only use it once. Otherwise, I won't be able to find Aunt. Xianyuan Huowu glanced at the old woman and said. But to your body. The old woman said worriedly. Xianyuan Huowu ignored her. She pressed 2 fingers on her forehead and forced out a drop of heart blood. Heart blood was the most precious but also the least. It had a great impact on a living being's lifespan. Xianyuan Huowu didn't just force out 1 drop of heart blood. Instead, she forced out a total of 9 drops of heart blood. Her complexion began to pale. The old woman couldn't persuade her. No one could stop her from doing what she insisted on doing. Yang Wu felt a bit of heartache as he watched. He could feel that Xianyuan Huowu really wanted to find her aunt. Condense. Xianyuan Huowu continuously formed hand seals. The 9 drops of heart blood fused with the dull hair ornament. A shadow appeared. It was Xianyuan Huowu's will clone. Go! Xianyuan Huowu shouted. The will clone flew in a certain direction. Her heart blood and hair ornament had fused into one. It could block some corrosive power. Moreover, the old woman was protecting it with heavenly methods. She wouldn't allow anything to happen to it. It kept going deeper and deeper. The more dangerous it was, the more bizarre things kept happening. There were negative emotions, corpse transformations, corpse aura, heroic spirits, and so on. Moreover, these threats were getting stronger and stronger. All of a sudden, an arrow shot towards their direction. The power of this arrow was too fast. The old woman protecting Xianyuan Huowu was caught off guard and was hit by the arrow. Puff! This arrow wasn't an illusion. It was real. The power of the arrow pierced through the old woman's shoulder. Blood splashed out. Swoosh! Swoosh! Suddenly, an earth-shattering amount of arrow light shot out. Yang Taihe cried out, "It's the Empress's arrow intent. Everyone, retreat!" The arrow intent was too tyrannical. When Yang Taihe's voice fell, it was already above their heads. If they couldn't dodge or block it, they would be shot into rotten persimmons. Yu Huijin quickly acted. A full moon condensed and blocked in front of everyone. However, the power of the arrow was too fierce. It still shattered Yu Huijin's power. Not good. The power is too terrifying. Retreat. Yu Huijin said with a grave expression. Yu Huijin was already the strongest among them. If she couldn't block it, how could the others? TSK. Since you've come, don't leave. Stay and accompany me. An ethereal voice filled with hostility rang out. Chapter 1460. The War Tomb was a graveyard. Rotten corpses could be seen everywhere. Countless remnant souls and chilly winds roared here. It was a land of death. The sudden appearance of a voice was quite frightening. Countless arrows shot down like rain. Even Yu Huijin found it difficult to resist. It could be seen how terrifying the power was. In addition to the arrow power, there was also a terrifying blade power. The domineering power carried a different kind of power, as if it wanted to destroy everything. It made people feel despair. The old woman of the Xianyuan clan shouted, "Princess, step back." In the next moment, a majestic power was released from the old woman's body. She swung a walking stick forward, blocking the power of the blade. Xianyuan Hou exclaimed, "Qin clan's raging god's murderous aura." Only the Qin clan's murderous aura could create such a terrifying, oppressive feeling. Bang! After the power collided, the power flew everywhere. The old woman was forced to step back by the terrifying power. A terrifying blade mark appeared on the ground. The dense murderous aura was chilling. On the other side, Yu Huaijin released a powerful force, shattering all the arrows that were flying towards him. Where did this monster come from? Come out! Yu Huaijin's battle strength was astonishing. He shot out a stream of light, breaking through layers of energy barriers and attacking the creature in the dark. Whoosh! An arrow power pierced through the air, aiming at Yu Huaijin's forehead. Yu Huaijin's eyes focused. He put two fingers together and pointed out a shocking finger, stopping the arrow. The arrow seemed to have a life of its own. It changed direction and shot toward Yang Taihe. "I need your blood to wash my sharp arrowhead," the arrow said. On the other side, a blade that pierced through the air also said, "Bloodthirsty blade, kill." The arrow and blade were like living people with emotions. It was really frightening. Artifact spirits, they are also affected by emotions, Yang Wu shouted in shock. Could it be the Empress's son shooting arrow feather and the Qin clan's raging god blade? Xianyuan Hou had some understanding of the major battle clans. She instantly determined the origin of the two weapons. At this moment, the arrow had already pierced through Yang Taihe's body. There was no way for him to dodge it. Yang Taihe clutched his chest and fell down. "Little ancestor!" Yang Wu shouted anxiously. He rushed over to help Yang Taihe. Yu Huaijin chased after the arrow and wanted to suppress it. He thought to himself, "Is this a true godly weapon? So powerful!" She had the battle prowess of an overlord-level being and feared no one within the divine level. However, this arrow made her feel a little helpless. "Heh, do you think it's that easy to catch me? All of you will become dead souls under my arrows," Jian Yu said once more. It flew through the sky and burrowed into the ground at an astonishing speed. Even Yu Huaijin had no way of locking it down, and it continued to shoot at her. This fellow was also very smart. It wanted to kill Yang Wu and Yang Taihe many times. Yang Taihe didn't die after being hit by an arrow. Yang Wu poured the inferior immortal liquid's energy on his wound, but the effect wasn't very obvious. This energy had a terrifying corrosive power. Many negative emotions rushed into Yang Taihe's divine court, wanting to enslave him. "Ah! Don't even think about controlling me. Get lost." Yang Taihe's willpower was incomparably strong. He kept roaring, and the energy in his divine court resisted the arrow's willpower. This willpower could enslave mid-level divine ascension experts and above, but Yang Taihe forcibly blocked it. At the same time, his willpower continued to condense, and his soul underwent another transformation. A true dragon, a black tortoise, began to appear on his body. It roared crazily, driving away the willpower and the Yin demon wind's corrosive power. Yang Wu felt Yang Taihe's shocking willpower and exclaimed inwardly, "Little ancestor's willpower is so strong. Even a high-level divine soul's power can't compare." Yang Taihe hadn't spent thousands of years in Gravesplitter City for nothing. Now was the time for him to accumulate strength. The soul condensed in his divine court contained the will of a true dragon and a black tortoise. These two kinds of martial wills would be the support for Yang Taihe to become even stronger. On the other side, the old woman was continuously slashed by the furious god's saber. She was in a sorry state. She was at the 5th level of the Jade Moon Realm, but she couldn't do anything to a saber. It was too embarrassing. Xianyuan Hou took action. She took out the Phoenix Godly Sword. The Phoenix Godly Sword also had a sword spirit, which could help the old woman block the furious god's saber. The furious god's saber's attacks were very fierce. The phoenix godly sword wasn't a match for it. It was sent flying again, and it even let out an incomparably proud voice. If God blocks, I will kill God. If devil blocks, I will kill devil. The furious god's saber's killing intent was very strong. It really wasn't something that anyone could block. The old woman used a series of methods to exhaust the saber spirit's power. However, the saber spirit seemed to have endless power in this place. She couldn't suppress it. If she could suppress it, she would be able to bring it out. This was a top-notch divine weapon, and she was extremely fond of it. Even if she couldn't use it, she would be able to offer it to the clan and receive a generous reward. PFFF. The old woman's thoughts were very beautiful. However, the reality was very cruel. The saber cut open her abdomen and blood flowed out rapidly. She was in great pain. A terrifying killing intent rushed towards her, causing her to lose focus for a short moment. The furious god's saber slashed towards her forehead. Get lost! Fortunately, Xianyuan Huowu came to her rescue in time. A fire phoenix with torrential flames knocked the furious god's saber's power aside. The furious god's saber's power still cut off one of the old woman's ears, causing her to scream in pain. What delicious blood! I want more. After the furious god's saber spoke, it actually didn't slash towards the old woman. Instead, it slashed towards Xianyuan Huowu. Go! Xianyuan Huowu couldn't block the furious god's saber. She once again threw out the phoenix godly sword to block the furious god's saber. The phoenix was cut in half by the saber light. The phoenix godly sword fell from the sky. Just as the furious god's saber was about to cut Xianyuan Huowu, another divine sword flew over. A black tortoise crashed down from the sky. The Big Dipper sword. This was the divine sword that Yang Wu obtained from Wudong. It was rumored that it was one of the great Emperor Jinwu's swords in his early years. Clang! 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 The two divine weapons collided, causing a series of sparks to fly in all directions. Another piece of trash. Break for me! The saber spirit shouted arrogantly. The black tortoise roared, Who do you think you are? I am the great Emperor's chief warrior. The one who will break will be you. The sword spirit of the Big Dipper sword was quite ferocious. This was the first time that Yang Wu saw the furious god's saber being suppressed by it. However, the furious god's saber was incomparably cunning. After realizing that it wasn't a match for the Big Dipper sword, it slashed towards Yang Wu. After killing your master, you can be as free and unfettered as I am. The saber spirit turned into a rainbow and pierced towards Yang Wu's heart. It seems that you have forgotten that you are nothing more than a weapon. How dare you kill your master? What a joke! Suppress them all! Yang Wu shouted and took out his medicine refining cauldron. Then, he pleaded, Please help me keep them. Hee, it's no big deal. The weapon spirit's voice sounded. The medicine cauldron enlarged and enveloped the furious god's saber. The furious god's saber sensed the danger, but it was too late for it to escape. It was trapped by the medicine cauldron. Clang! Clang! Quickly let me out, I want to meet a god, kill a god, meet a devil, kill a devil, who can stop my endless killing intent. The angry god Blade's voice was still roaring, and soon, it could no longer be heard. The bronze cauldron rotated once again and enveloped the arrow. The arrow was quick to escape. However, the cauldron spirit of the bronze cauldron was of a much higher level than it. An aged hand reached out, grabbed the arrow, and stored it into the medicine cauldron. The two murderous weapons that had given birth to weapon spirits had become Yang Wu's possession. Yu Huijin stared with wide eyes at Yang Wu's bronze cauldron. He exclaimed in his heart, True God medicine cauldron? Every medicine cauldron was the lifeblood of an alchemist. A good medicine cauldron was especially precious. The ancient medicine cauldron before Yang Wu's eyes was of a very high level. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to easily keep the two great divine weapons. The old woman was also shocked. Yang Wu had easily kept such a vicious weapon. No wonder he could talk to their patriarch on equal footing at such a young age. Yang Wu stably put away the medicinal cauldron and smiled. I'm afraid that the most dangerous things here are these advanced artifact spirit. I'm sure it's not just this one, there are other artifact spirits as well. Everyone be careful. Perhaps we'll have a great harvest. Little Wu, lend me your medicine cauldron. I feel that I need protection. Xianyuan Huowu approached Yang Wu. She blinked her big eyes and said delicately, "Don't worry. I will protect you." Yang Wu patted his chest and said, "I want the medicine cauldron." Xianyuan Huowu said coquettishly. Her voice was extremely soft and numb. Any man's heart of stone would be melted by it. "Wait until you become my wife. I will give it to you," Yang Wu replied with a smile. "Che stingy." Xianyuan Huowu rolled her eyes at Yang Wu. Then, she went to the old woman's side and asked, "Granny, are you all right? I won't die yet. However, this place is too dangerous. It's not advisable to go deeper." The old woman replied, "Since we are already here, just hold on a little longer. Moreover, I feel that ant is not far ahead." Xianyuan Huowu said stubbornly, "That's right. I don't want to leave at this time." Yang Wu replied and took the lead to advance. The bronze cauldron was something that even the god of war pagoda's pagoda spirit was terrified of. It was only after Yang Wu became a divine alchemist that he gained its recognition. After becoming a disciple of the medicine god Palace, it cooperated with him even more. This was also the reason why he used the bronze cauldron at this time. Even without the bronze cauldron, he still had the divine weapon electric fork and the pot shield. He could suppress these two divine weapons. An even more terrifying crisis awaited them as they continued to advance. Chapter 1461. Following the guidance of Xianyuan Huowu's heartblood, Yang Wu's group finally arrived at a strange place. This strange place was surrounded by countless boulders. The boulders were arranged like a formation, and there were huge demonic corpses suppressed by the boulders. These demonic corpses were incomparably huge, and there was a lot of demonic energy lingering within them. After countless years, there was still no sign of dissipating. "This is the place where the seniors of my Xianyuan clan reside?" After Xianyuan Huowu arrived, she immediately felt a sense of familiarity. She and the old woman flew towards the boulders. Yang Wu hurriedly shouted, "Don't go, that's the power of the divine chains." After saying that, he rushed over with his fastest speed and stopped them. Fortunately, Xianyuan Huowu's realm and strength were inferior to his, so she was stopped by him. If he was a bit slower and they rushed in, the consequences would be unimaginable. "What did you mean just now?" Xianyuan Huowu asked. Without waiting for Yang Wu's response, the old woman said, "You said this is the divine palace?" Yang Wu nodded and said, "That's right, this is definitely the divine palace. If you go near, you'll definitely be killed by these boulders." After Yang Wu finished speaking, the old woman pointed and sent a wave of energy towards the boulders. Before this wave of energy could approach the boulders, it was directly wiped out by a supreme power. "It really is the divine palace," the old woman cried out. "The divine palace of the Nine Suns realm?" Xianyuan Huowu asked. "That's right, only the divine palace's power can easily dissolve my power," the old woman replied. Then she asked, "Will Yujun really be here?" "According to my senses, it can't be wrong," Xianyuan Huowu said in a deep voice. She looked at Yang Wu and said, "Do you have a way to enter? If you want to enter the divine palace, you must comprehend the power of the divine chains to enter." "I can't comprehend the power here, so I can't enter," Yang Wu replied truthfully. Yu Huijin said, "You can also forcefully break it, but it depends on whether you have the ability." "How can we break the Nine Suns Palace?" the old woman said anxiously. "Don't you think you're invincible? You can try." Yu Huijin had long disliked the old woman and couldn't help but say. The old woman was so angry that she couldn't speak. If it's an expert of the Nine Suns realm from your Xianyuan clan, maybe you can enter. Kangangong's the divine chains. Okay, I'll give it a try, Xianyuan Hou replied and urged her heart-blood clone over. When the avatar got close, there was a vibration and the avatar turned into a blood mist. The blood mist fell on the boulder and activated the power of the divine chains. Swoosh. It powers, the divine palace realms, the power was. Xianyuan Chu Huai's. Hou Huai the Hou and walked. Xianyuan Hou's. S. Of Suizu. Aunt must be inside. I want to take her away. Xianyuan Hou said firmly. Yang Wu said, you don't have to go in. Maybe you can try to summon her. He added in his heart, if she's still alive. Just as Yang Wu finished speaking, an incomparably mournful voice came from inside. Ah! The voice shook heaven and earth. Boundless killing intent shook the surroundings. The divine chain's power reversed, forming a golden dragon that soared into the sky. A figure stood on the dragon's head. The figure was dressed sloppily. Her messy long hair covered her cheek. Only a pair of bloodshot eyes could be seen through the hair. That terrifying aura made people shudder. She was a woman. Her body was skinny like a refugee. However, the aura she emitted was incomparably noble. It was as if she was a born noble. It was innate and couldn't be concealed. Aunt? Xianyuan Hou asked doubtfully. Just as she finished speaking, a force struck towards her position. The power was too fast. No one could react in time. Xianyuan Hou was hit. Her delicate body was sent flying, and she spat out blood. Yang Wu's eyes bulged. His body turned into a bolt of lightning and swept towards Xianyuan Hou. Yu Huijin also wanted to help Yang Wu bring Xianyuan Hou over. However, the woman standing on the dragon's head made her move again. This time, Yu Huijin reacted and blocked the power ahead of time. Bang! Yu Huijin was pushed back by the power. Kill! The woman standing on the dragon's head shouted. The divine chain's power was activated. Golden dragons surrounded Yu Huijin and attacked. Run! Yu Huijin screamed. The divine chain's power was at the Nine Suns realm. How could she block it? She had no choice but to block it to give Yang Wu and the others a chance to escape. The old woman and Yang Taihe didn't dare to stay idle. The power of the connecting heaven realm was incomparably strong. It was like the power of a full moon had sealed the woman's power. Rumble! Rumble! The divine chain's power was too domineering. It directly urged Yu Huijin, the old woman and Yang Taihe's power. Yu Huijin quickly retreated, and took Yang Wu and Xianyuan Hou away. The old woman and Yang Taihe were sent flying. Even the connecting heaven realm experts couldn't block the power of the divine chains. They couldn't block the woman's power. Yang Wu, let go of me. She is my aunt. Xianyuan Hou cried out weakly. The divine grade inner armor she wore was shattered. It was this inner armor that saved her life. Otherwise, the attack just now would have taken her life. She is already possessed. You will only die if you go near her. Yang Wu replied. I have a way to awaken her will. It's useless. She has been invaded for many years. What can you do? We are of the same race. My blood can awaken her. Don't be silly. The woman standing on the dragon's head obviously didn't want Yang Wu and his group to leave. She cried out once again. Countless boulders rolled and smashed towards the distance, completely blocking the escape route of Yang Wu and his group. The powerful gravity crushed down, instantly reducing their speed. Boulders were also smashing towards them. The boulders turned into dragons and fell from the sky. No one could stop them. Yu Huijin, the old woman and Yang Taihe tried their best to stop them. A curved blade appeared in Yu Huijin's hand. Her battle strength rapidly increased. She continuously slashed at the boulders with the power of the moon. The walking stick in the old woman's hand enlarged. When she swung it forward, a meteor-like power smashed the boulders. Yang Taihe took out the dragon rebel spear. The spear was like a dragon, and the river water surged. The 3 Empyrean swords blocked the falling boulder. Apart from Yu Huaijin, who could block a few of the boulders, the old woman and Yang Taiha's powers were all shattered. They were heavily injured by the boulder and were suppressed by it. No one knew if the 2 of them were still alive. Yang Wu and Xianyuan Houwu's position was blocked by Yu Huaijin, and they luckily escaped. However, they were sealed by the power of the divine chains. The woman rode on the dragon's head and slowly came over. She was like a demoness descending. Her terrifying power made people shudder. "Do you have the confidence to win against her?" Yang Wu asked. "In my peak state, I can block it," Yu Huaijin replied. "Good, I'll return you to your peak state," Yang Wu responded. He didn't hesitate to summon the little soul bell and prepared to return another portion of Yu Huaijin's soul origin. Yu Huaijin was incomparably excited. Unfortunately, before the little soul bell could release her soul, the woman had already made her move. Another huge rock came crashing down on them. Who could stop it with the force of Mount Tai? Pot Shield. Yang Wu summoned the pot shield and poured the power of his immortal root into it. It instantly enlarged and blocked the boulder's power. Bang! The boulder's power smashed onto the pot shield's defensive power, causing Yang Wu's group to feel dizzy. The defensive power also almost collapsed. "If you have any other methods to awaken her, use them quickly. Otherwise, we'll all die," Yang Wu said to Xianyuan Houwu anxiously. Xianyuan Houwu shouted, "Aunt, I'm Xianyuan Houwu, your niece. I'm here to take you out. Can you stop attacking?" Yang Wu was instantly speechless. Xianyuan Houwu was usually so clever. Why was she so useless at the crucial moment? If shouting like this was useful, the other party wouldn't kill them without a word. At the same time, the little soul bell was actually in the woman's hand. Yu Huaijin's soul hadn't been released yet. "Damn it, quickly return the soul bell." Yu Huaijin was completely anxious. She shouted and continuously slashed with her scimitar. Yu Huaijin's fighting strength was very powerful. Even if she wasn't at her peak, she was still able to challenge top deity experts. This woman's realm hadn't reached that level yet. She was only so powerful because she had comprehended the power of the divine chains and could control them. The 2 women fought fiercely together, causing a huge commotion. Yang Wu and Xianyuan Houwu took the time to rescue Yu Huaijin. When they approached the boulder, they discovered that they couldn't move the boulder. It was the power of the divine chains. Without the same power or without comprehending the power of the divine chains, it was impossible to move the boulder. Yang Wu slashed with the Big Dipper, intending to save Yang Taiha. Unfortunately, before the sword light could land, it was shattered by the power of the divine chains. "Princess, try and see if you have the power of the divine decree to move the boulder," Yang Wu reminded. Xianyuan Houwu calmed down and instantly tore open the power of the divine decree, hoping to use the power of the divine decree to move the boulder. A heavenly expert appeared. This was the clone of an overlord. The aura it released was very powerful. "Ancestor, please help me move this boulder to save Granny," Xianyuan Houwu said respectfully. The heavenly expert clone stretched out its palm, intending to move the boulder. Unexpectedly, the power of the divine chains backfired and shattered the clone's power. The power of the divine chains! When the clone disappeared, it revealed an incomparably moved expression. "It's over, there's no more." Chapter 1462. Everyone was in despair. The power of the divine chains was too terrifying. It was completely under the witches' control. Even with their divine weapons, they couldn't stop the witch's attack. Seeing that the witch was about to slaughter everyone, she actually stopped. That pair of vicious eyes actually had a bit of gentleness. She muttered, "Strong. Strong." Her eyes were fixed on Yang Wu, making him feel a bit nervous. Before anyone could react, a power bound Yang Wu and pulled him in the direction of the witch. Yang Wu was shocked. He opened his soul eye without hesitation and a beam of soul light shot toward the witch's glabella. He hoped that it could interfere with the witch's soul. He didn't expect to kill her, but it was enough to save himself. However, after his soul power entered the demon goddess's court, it was like a muddy sea. It couldn't cause any waves. This was the first time Yang Wu encountered something like this. The witch's soul must be very powerful. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to ignore his soul attack. Put down the young master, Yu Huijin shouted. Her curved blade slashed out again. Hu Yu Ling Tian. Yu Huijin became one with her blade. She turned into a terrifying crescent moon and attacked the witch. That terrifying destructive power was something that even a peak-reaching heaven expert wouldn't dare to face. Heaven and earth were destroyed by this blade. This was Yu Huijin's true strength. In order to take back the small soul bell, she was going all out. Saving Yang Wu was only secondary. Before Yu Huijin's attack could land on the witch, a huge rock containing the power of the divine chains smashed towards her. Bang! The curved blade's power continuously slashed the huge rock. It didn't break the huge rock. Instead, the blade's power was directly shattered. Yu Huijin was forced to retreat. The moment she retreated, the witch had already grabbed Yang Wu. Strong, strong. You're finally here. I won't be separated from you again. She hugged Yang Wu tightly. He couldn't breathe at all. Her power was too great. Although Yang Wu could fight against reaching heaven experts, he still felt like he couldn't bear it. Yu Huijin and Xianyuan Huowu were dumbfounded. What's wrong with this witch? She mistook Yang Wu for him? Xianyuan Huowu's mind spun quickly, and she instantly understood the crux of the matter. When Yu Huijin was about to attack again, Xianyuan Huowu hurriedly shouted, "Don't attack again, you'll hurt Yang Wu." Yu Huijin hesitated for a moment before giving up. She was afraid that the other party would destroy the soul of the little soul bell if she pushed him too far. Yang Wu was struggling. He wanted to break free from the witch's restraints, but he was still unable to do so. If he were to make a move and kill the witch now, he would still be able to do so. The netherworld ice-winged blade would be able to cut her down. Just as he was about to do so, the witch cried, "Chang, we will never be separated again." Yang Wu instantly understood. The witch might really be Xianyuan Huowu's aunt, Xianyuan Yujun, and the Chang she spoke of might be his ancestor, Yang Baiqiang. His heart softened, just like the scene when he met Meng Bingxue. However, one was betrayed, while the other was imprisoned here. Amen, we will never be separated again. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Yang Wu softly comforted. You're so good, I've waited for you for so long. The witch said with tears streaming down her face. The witch was affected by negative emotions, but her infatuation was still deeply rooted. Otherwise, she wouldn't have mistaken Yang Wu for Yang Baiqiang at this time. Amen, aren't I here to find you? Can you let them leave first? If they disturb us, I'll be embarrassed. I'll kill them, the witch said with a murderous aura. No, they accompanied me to find you. Let them leave first, okay? Yang Wu anxiously shouted. All right, we'll do as you say. The witch replied and quickly retrieved the huge rock. The power of the divine chains retracted, releasing the others. You guys leave first. Don't worry about me, I'll have a good talk with you, June. Yang Wu replied. Everyone was clear that the current situation was very unfavorable for them. Staying here would only cause trouble, so they had no choice but to leave. Be careful, we're in trouble. Xianyuan Huowu transmitted to Yang Wu. Wu'er must be fine. Yang Taihe dragged his heavily injured body and said. Just like this, they quickly left this place. They were afraid that the witch would go crazy again and kill them if they were any slower. After they left, Yang Wu heaved a heavy sigh of relief. At this time, the witch's negative emotions suddenly appeared again, and a terrifying evil aura enveloped him. Yang Wu quickly hugged her and kissed the witch's lip. He thought to himself, I can only use the beauty trap. The witch's negative emotions were instantly blocked by Yang Wu's kiss. At the same time, fragmented scenes of the past constantly flashed through her mind. Those beautiful memories had long been imprinted in her heart, causing her to sober up a lot. Chong, take me. The witch was lost in Yang Wu's beauty trap. Yang Wu raised his hand and knocked the back of the witch's neck without hesitation. However, the witch's senses were too powerful. Before he could hit her, the power on her body fluctuated and blocked his attack. In the next moment, he was directly thrown to the ground by the witch. She lifted her hair, revealing a pale and lusterless face. She muttered, "Let's consummate today." In an instant, the clothes on Yang Wu's body were torn to shreds. "No, I'm not Yang Baiqiang." Yang Wu held his lower body and cried out in shock. The witch was just about to throw herself at Yang Wu when she heard this. Her negative emotions appeared again, and her eyes flashed with a thick murderous intent. "Do you have a woman? Do you not like me anymore? You unfaithful man, I'm going to kill you." The witch raised her hand and slapped Yang Wu's face. Yang Wu naturally wouldn't just sit there and wait for death. The sacred mandala was already attacking. Whoosh whoosh. The sacred mandala was very close to her. Many vines quickly bound her body, and a terrible poisonous fog enveloped her, preventing her from killing Yang Wu. "Wrap her up layer by layer," Yang Wu hurriedly ordered. The sacred mandala grew like crazy, wrapping the witch up like a rice dumpling. The witch was powerful, but that was only with the help of the divine chains. Now that the chains were isolated, she wouldn't be able to break free so easily. Yang Wu bounced up and put on his clothes. "Good thing my chastity is preserved." He then grabbed the small soul bell and took out the divine radiance elixir. This was a divine elixir he'd obtained from the radiance space. It could purify and restrain all negative energy. "Ah!" The demoness struggled and screamed. Many of the flower vines were breaking apart. Yang Wu seized the opportunity and poured the elixir into the witch's mouth. The witch was only under the influence of negative emotions. Once she took the elixir, she might be completely healed. However, Yang Wu's elixir didn't even touch the witch before it was destroyed by the essence she spat out. Yang Wu's heart ached. He hesitated for a moment, then drank a mouthful of the elixir and transmitted, "Yu Jun, I'm in the top 100. The words, "top 100, seemed to have a magical power, instantly freezing the witch. While she was in a daze, he leaned over again and kissed her on the lips, forcefully pouring the elixir into her mouth. As the elixir entered her mouth, the purifying power of the light instantly took effect. The evil aura on her body was pushed away. She no longer struggled and just stood there in a daze. The evil thoughts in her soul were slowly cleansed and her aura gradually stabilized. Her eyes also slowly became clear. After an unknown amount of time, Yang Wu heard, "Are you done kissing?" This was ventriloquism, not words that came out of her mouth. Yang Wu was so scared that he quickly let go. He looked at the witch whose eyes had returned to normal and said awkwardly, Are you all right?" The witch coldly stared at Yang Wu and said, "Who are you?" Yang Wu believed that the witch had returned to normal at this moment, but he could still feel a terrifying killing intent from her body. He took a step back and said, I am Yang Wu from the Yang family. What is your relationship with the top 100? The witch asked a step further. While she was speaking, the sacred mandala flower binding her body began to crack. The sacred mandala flower quickly returned to Yang Wu's body. "He should be my grandfather's 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 grandfather." Yang Wu rubbed his nose and replied. He had seen the Yang family's genealogy. Their branch that had been kicked out of the transcendent realm was Yang Baiqiang's descendant. They had been implicated by Yang Baiqiang and had no choice but to be banished to the transcendent realm. His answer wasn't wrong. The witch kept staring at Yang Wu, making Yang Wu's hair stand on end. He didn't dare leave even if he wanted to. He was afraid that if he angered the other party, a giant rock could smash him to death. "Did he ask you to come here?" After a long time, she asked. Yang Wu froze for a moment, then shook his head and said, No, it was the Xianyuan family's princess, Her Highness Wu Wu, who came to find you. She is your niece. What about him? Why didn't he come to find me personally? The witch sternly said. Yang Wu instantly felt suffocated and uncomfortable. She was definitely a high-level expert, otherwise she wouldn't be able to give him such pressure. Don't you know that he is already dead? Yang Wu replied, but he immediately regretted it after saying this. At this time, how could he provoke her? He was simply courting death. However, the witch was surprisingly calm. She turned around and her expression couldn't be seen. The killing intent on her body was restrained, as if she hadn't been greatly provoked. You can leave. After a long time, the witch indifferently said. Then what about you? Yang Wu asked. It's not your turn to meddle in my affairs. Get lost. The witch was angry. Yang Wu didn't hesitate to turn around and leave. He was afraid that he would be obliterated by her if he was a bit slower. Her mood really exploded at the slightest provocation. After Yang Wu left, the witch knelt on the ground and silently sobbed, Chong. I am sorry, I am sorry. Chapter 1463. I heard you're the most outstanding of your generation. Come, let's exchange a few moves. I want to see what kind of genius the Yang clan can produce. Your Highness, I'm just a nobody. Please don't make things difficult for me, okay? No, they all say you're the number one of the younger generation in the War Clan realm. Even this prince isn't your opponent. I'm not convinced. Fine. I like to deal with all kinds of unconvinced people, especially a beauty like you. Your Highness, are you convinced now? Convinced my ass. You're just a cheap shot. Beauty, don't be so rough. Be careful not to explode your 2 tails of meat. Bastard, who said I only have 2 tails of meat? I'm going to kill you. It's not just 2 tails, it's at least 3 tails. Hateful, you bad guy. Why did I fall for you? Xianyuan Yujun's face was wet with tears as she recalled the past. She voluntarily came here to accept her punishment in the hope that her family and the Xing clan would let Yang Baiqiang go. She didn't expect that after she came in, Yang Baiqiang would still die. This was something she couldn't accept. I'll kill all of you who don't keep your promises. Xianyuan Yujun shouted as a wave of negative energy swept out. However, her soul wasn't affected much and she was able to deal with it calmly. Now do you know how stupid your decision was to voluntarily enter the war tomb? A voice faintly rang out. A tall figure walked towards Xianyuan Yujun step by step. Brother, why are you here too? When Xianyuan Yujun saw who it was, a look of shock flashed across her face. Then, she asked, could it be that this is also their doing? The person who came was Xianyuan Badeo, Xianyuan Yujun's younger brother. This was really unexpected. They didn't do that to me. They just didn't pay much attention to me. Xianyuan Badeo replied faintly, then he said, I've been here for 2 years, and I knew you were here, but I didn't have a way to help you recover, so I've been waiting for you to wake up, then I'll think of a way to help you, but I didn't expect that kid to save you first. It can be considered as him doing something for Brother Baiqiang. He's really dead? Xianyuan Yujun asked in a trembling voice. Yes, that day, I saw with my own eyes that he was surrounded and killed by some old fellows in the clan and the people from the Xing clan. The Yang clan also suffered a blow. If it wasn't for you voluntarily being imprisoned in this place, our good big brother's position would have been lost. Xianyuan Badeo replied. Damn it, they all deserve to die. Xianyuan Yujun shouted. Do you still want to stay here? Get out. I want to avenge the top 100. If that's the case, then you've fallen into our good elder brother's trap. Didn't he ask our good niece to come and save you because he wanted you to go out and stir up more trouble in the clan? I don't care. Those who killed the top 100, I want them dead. Sister, I think you should calm down. The old guys in the clan are not to be trifled with. They imprisoned me for so long for nothing. I only wanted them to give the top 100 a way out. They went back on their word, How can I remain calm? If you don't calm down, Brother Bai Chong would have died for nothing. Yang Wu, Yang Taihe, Xianyuan Huowu, and the others gathered together. Where's my aunt? Xianyuan Huowu asked anxiously. She's fine. Yang Wu replied. Then why didn't you bring her here? Who am I? How can I bring her here? It's already good enough that I can leave here alive. Xianyuan Huowu revealed a trace of sadness. She thought that Yang Wu could help her aunt get rid of her negative emotions and bring her out. Her emotions are no longer a problem. You can see her now. Yang Wu said. You mean she's fine? Xianyuan Huowu blinked her big eyes and asked. Yang Wu nodded and said, Yes, she's completely fine. Thank you. Xianyuan Huowu said and quickly flew towards Xianyuan Yujun. The old woman followed him like a shadow. Are you sure there's no problem? Yang Taihe, who was meditating, asked. Previously, he was smashed by a huge rock and his divine body almost exploded. Now that he had recovered some strength, he still needed some time to fully recover. It's fine. At least she won't hurt us anymore, Yang Wu said with certainty. Then, he said, Little ancestor, we can leave this place. They had finished what they wanted to do, so there wasn't much meaning in staying. I want to stay here for a while, Yang Taihe said. Little ancestor wants to train here? Yes, I'm still not strong enough. This is the tomb of our war clan's ancestors. Although it's incomparably dangerous, it also has great opportunities. Didn't that woman from the Xianyuan clan obtain the opportunity to enter the Nine Suns realm? I think I can try my luck. Although that's the case, but no buts. I've already made up my mind. You can go back and tell your grandmother. All right. Yang Wu couldn't persuade Yang Taihe, so he could only let him do as he wished. He took out some divine light liquid and some other resources, hoping to help Yang Taihe at a crucial moment. Yang Taihe didn't refuse and accepted the resources Yang Wu gave him. Although he was Yang Wu's ancestor, Yang Wu's ability had already far surpassed his ancestor. Yu Huaijin looked at Yang Wu from the side. She wanted to ask about the small soul bell, but she was too embarrassed to ask. Yang Wu also noticed her strangeness, but he didn't pay attention to her. This woman had always wanted to break free from his control. It could be said that she had put in a lot of effort. Yang Wu only waited for Xianyuan Huowu to return before he began to bid farewell. In the end, Xianyuan Huowu didn't wait, but Xianyuan Badeo did. Why are you here? Yang Wu said in surprise. Why can't I be here? Xianyuan Badeo asked. The last time they met was when Yang Wu went to the Purple Firmament Palace. At that time, Xianyuan Badeo answered the summons and went to the Purple Firmament Palace with him. At that time, he was incomparably shocked. Did you come early? Yang Wu asked again. You can even guess this? There's nothing I can't guess. Your body is stained with the aura here. If you don't remove it, you may lose your sense of propriety. I'm ready to leave here. Don't worry. Then I'm relieved. It's really surprising that you can come out of the Purple Firmament Palace's Divine Firmament Forbidden area. Yes, I also feel lucky. The Purple Firmament Palace won't let this go. You should be careful in the future. You can go out first. Huowu and her aunt will meet. Nothing will happen. Alright, then we'll go first. Thank you, Yang Wu. Yang Wu was confused. He didn't know what Xianyuan Badeo was talking about. Could it be that he was thanking him for helping Xianyuan Huowu? He naturally didn't know that Xianyuan Badeo and Xianyuan Yujun were siblings. Just like that, Yang Wu, Yang Taihe and Yu Huaijin left. They didn't go out immediately. Instead, they continued to look around to see if there was anything special here. Like the shooting sun arrows, raging god saber, and other divine weapons, they wanted to collect one or two more. Or some battle skill inheritance and so on. However, not only did they not gain anything, but they were also surrounded by a demon spirit army and were almost injured by them. Yang Wu and Yu Huaijin decided to leave this place. Yang Wu still had many things to deal with in the clan. He couldn't leave for too long. After all, the Yang clan was expanding and was in the process of consolidating their territory. If he left for too long, the people's hearts would be unstable. Yang Taihe stayed behind. He had done what he should do in the clan. It was time to think of a way to improve his strength. Yang Chaohui was enough to guard the grave split city. Yang Wu and Yu Huijin left the battlefield tomb smoothly and quickly rushed back to the Yang clan. The Yang clan continued to expand their territory. They had taken back their original territory and occupied some other territories. This was the time when they were the most powerful. At the same time, they attracted the most attention. The Xianyuan clan leader came out to stop Yang Wu's reward for the Xing clan. He also received a reply. The Xing clan was forced to hand over half of their mines to the Yang clan. The two clans stopped fighting for the time being. When the news came out, the War clan was in an uproar. The Xing clan actually bowed to the Yang clan first. Although the Xianyuan clan intervened, it also meant that the Yang clan had the power to challenge the Xing clan. The Yang clan was no longer the Yang clan of the past. When the news came out, another piece of news came out. The second alchemy tower of the Alchemist Alliance would be located in the Yang clan. The first alchemy tower was set up in Ding City by Xiang Dingtian. Many alchemists knew the function of the alchemy tower. Not only could it test the alchemist's level, but after reaching a certain level, the alchemist could also receive rewards. It could be alchemy techniques, pill recipes, or even alchemy-related rewards. All the major cities were trying to get their hands on the alchemy tower. This would attract a large number of alchemists. At the same time, more warriors would come, which would lead to the prosperity of the city. The second alchemy tower was sent to the Yang clan under the protection of the vice leader Miao Miao Qi and Chao Jifei. An exquisite pagoda was built in the city of Yang Jiaqing. Boundless fiery light illuminated the land. Countless people cheered. The arrival of the alchemy tower was undoubtedly a heart-strengthening pill for the Yang clan and the people who depended on the Yang clan. It meant that the Yang clan was beginning to soar. Yang Wu also announced that he would preach for 3 days in the alchemy tower as a gift for the alchemists who came. In addition, he asked Elder Zui to personally preside over the alchemist test. On this day, countless alchemists gathered in the Yang clan. Other than the alchemists from the War clan realm, there were also alchemists from the Chuan Du realm. When the people from Mount Amei heard the news, they were about to explode from anger. Mount Amei had absolute control over the Chuan Du realm. However, they could not control all the alchemists. Was it wrong for them to want to test their level? The Yang clan was unstoppable. Chapter 1464. The rise of the Yang clan had touched the nerves of many powers, especially the Xing clan and Purple Cloud Palace. They hated seeing the Yang clan grow stronger, as it meant that they would have another powerful enemy in the future. However, for the time being, they had no way to annihilate the Yang clan and stop the rise of the Yang clan. Even though they had bribed some of the evil cultivators to cause trouble in the Yang family city, wanting to ruin the reputation of the Yang family, it was a pity that the Yang family had quickly extinguished the trouble before it had time to ferment. The Yang clan's overall strength had increased too quickly, and it was too difficult for ordinary people to cause trouble for them. The trouble caused by these people reminded Yang Wu that he needed to monitor the Yang clan's territory. Thus, he called Lu Ji over. In the past few years, after Lu Ji returned from Wudong, he was not in a hurry to return to Wudong Mountain. He planned to marry Yang Lulu, and once they were married, he would be the son-in-law of the Yang clan, and could be considered a member of the Yang clan. He was talented, but he did not put his mind on cultivation, and instead focused on studying formations, and became friends with Yu Chang'an. After Lu Ji saw Yang Wu, he did not wait for Yang Wu to speak and said, "My lord, when will you host my wedding with Lulu?" Yang Wu froze for a moment, then laughed, "So that's why you're here. Master has nothing to teach me, I have already comprehended the Tai Chi Dao, and the rest is up to me. I don't want to stay in Wudong forever, and the Yang clan is in the stage of development. I need a reason to help. Only by betrothing Lulu to me can I be considered a member of the Yang clan. You see, Brother Pang Yuan is already ahead of me, Lu Ji replied. Who would have thought that such a devilish-looking guy like Lu Ji would like the ordinary-looking young Lulu? Fate was something that was really hard to guess. All right, I'll preside over the wedding once you've chosen an auspicious time. Yang Wu was also happy for Lu Ji from the bottom of his heart. This way, he and Lu Ji would be even closer. Thank you, my lord, Lu Ji said happily. Then he asked, why did my lord summon me? I want to set up a surveillance array so that I can see everything that's happening in the Yang clan's territory. Yang Wu said, my lord, your appetite is really big. As long as there are enough materials, I can make a small-scale array formation. However, I can't do a large-scale array formation alone. Lu Ji said awkwardly. Indeed, he had just reached the 3-star mark realm. Even if he could increase his strength by 2 or 3 stars in a short period of time, he still wouldn't be able to complete such a large divine formation. Only if he had reached the heavenly arrival realm would it be possible. If you can't do it alone, then ask someone else. There are other divine array masters in the transcendent realm. You can ask them to come and help. Yang Wu said. After pausing for a moment, he said, the Wu Dang clan should have divine array masters. My master should be a divine array master. However, it won't be easy to ask him to help. At the very least, I don't have that kind of face. Lu Ji replied after thinking for a moment. Your master is really an expert. Not only is he a divine alchemist, but he's also a divine array master. If he's also a divine weapon master, then he's omnipotent. Yang Wu praised. That's not it. Master said that he doesn't know how to refine weapons. All right, then let's ask your master to come out. You and I will return to the Wu Dang clan and ask him to come out. There's no need to rush. Before that, let's talk about how powerful the surveillance array is. You also need to prepare all kinds of materials. Without those materials, even if he comes, it'll be useless. Also, you can use a divine pill to hire 1 or 2 divine array masters to come and help. That's reasonable. Then let's do that. Lu Ji listed out a list of materials. Most of them were holy materials, and some of them were divine materials. Their value was not small, and they needed a huge amount of financial support. Yang Wu had gone to the divine cloud battlefield and obtained a lot of materials. He could provide some of them, but the rest still needed to be bought. He looked at the Yang family's treasury and suddenly felt a little embarrassed. There were not many holy stones left in the treasury, and even fewer divine stones. The entire family's operation was supported by the treasury. Even if he, as a divine alchemist, refined a lot of pills and sold them, the wealth he earned was only enough to cover the expenses. Yang Wu ordered someone to open the account book. After seeing a pile of expenses, he felt a headache coming. Continue to auction the pills. Yang Wu could only take out another batch of pills and give it to the people below to auction. In addition, he also summoned some elders to work together to develop the business. Making more money was the way to go. Few of these elders knew how to do business. The original business methods were too old-fashioned, and money came too slowly. Most of them relied on mining in the world of battles and then trading with other forces to obtain wealth. In the past few years, the Yang family's investment in the world of battles had been quite small. Only Yang Hanlin was there. Moreover, he had asked for half of the Xing family's mines, so he needed manpower. It was not easy to replenish the treasury in a short time. Based on the current situation, it was too difficult for Yang Wu to count on the Yang family to make money. He couldn't help but wonder where Nangong Shiqin and Rin Xiaofeng had gone. Had they betrayed him and left? At that moment, Yang Mami walked out and said, "Family leader, I have a suggestion, but I don't know if I should say it." "Say it." Yang Wu looked at the charming Yang Mami. She was a mature woman, always exuding a charming charm. She had charmed countless people, both inside and outside the family. Countless people had proposed marriage to her, but she had heartlessly rejected them all. She said, "I just want to give birth to a child for you." The others were dealt a heavy blow, but they still couldn't stop others from liking her. Yang Wu found Yang Manmi's burning gaze a little unbearable. She was a woman who ate people up. "I have some experience in business. Family leader, please listen to me and see if it's feasible." Once Yang Manmi said that, she said seriously, "I think we can rebuild Dao Verification Mountain. It's the place where you became the first divine apothecary. Many people go there one after another to pay their respect. They hope that they can feel what it's like when you become a divine apothecary. Once it's rebuilt, we can send soldiers to guard it. Anyone who wants to pay their respects to Dao Verification Mountain can do so as long as they pay. Also, we can carve some of the things you did in your early years on Dao Verification Mountain and turn it into a place of historical interest. You can only earn a small amount of money like that, right?" an elder asked. "No. Countless people go to Dao Verification Mountain every day. If we add up the small amount of money each person earns, we can earn the same amount as if we auction off a sacred core every day." "It's impossible to earn that much money." "That's right. It's impossible for a place of historical interest to attract so many people. Don't argue. Let Manmi finish," Yang Wu said as he pressed his hands together. Yang Manmi then said, "Everyone who enters Dao Verification Mountain will receive one sacred stone. There are at least 100,000 people who come to observe it every day, so that's the same as 100,000 sacred stones. Do you think that paying one sacred stone is very expensive? Actually, that's not the case. There are plenty of people who will pay 100 high-grade mystic stones to enter the city, and our family leader is the youngest divine apothecary in history. He left behind the presence of his Dao Verification Mountain. If anyone can understand it, they might not be able to become a divine apothecary, but they can definitely become a saint apothecary." The group was not stupid. When they heard Yang Manmi say it so clearly, they instantly understood what she wanted to do. He wanted to use Yang Wu's name to sell a boo-boo to everyone. It was just like Shaolin Temple. It was said to be a holy land for Buddhists, and many believers went there to worship Buddha. The fee for each person to worship Buddha was not high, but there was an endless stream of people coming in every day. Their income alone was already comparable to the income of many people from doing business. Pang Yuan was the first to agree. "Elder Manmi's suggestion is very good. I think it's feasible." Another person thought about it and said, "It's feasible, but it would be best if the family leader left behind some authentic writings." Not bad, not bad. Not only was the family leader a divine apothecary, he was also an invincible emperor. These are all necessary elements for a historical site. We can turn Dao Verification Mountain into the family leader's first Dao Verification Mountain, and more people will come to pay their respects. That's a great idea. Manmi, you're really smart. Everyone's opinion changed, and they began to support Yang Manmi's suggestion. Yang Wu also thought that it was feasible, so he waved his hand and agreed to Yang Manmi's suggestion. Then, Yang Manmi suggested that they build the largest herb trading ground in the war race around the Apothecaries Alliance's branch. Not only would they trade with the war race, they would also trade with all parts of the transcendent world. Even if they did not want to build a cauldron city, it would definitely not be a problem to build a small cauldron city or small herb city. Aside from that, she also had some unique suggestions that caused everyone's eyes to light up. If they carried out her suggestions, the Yang family would definitely be able to gather a lot of wealth within a short period of time. Yang Wu agreed to all of her suggestions without hesitation. He also appointed Yang Manmi as the chief elder of the trading firm and told her to do her best to gather wealth for the Yang family. No one else dared to object. Yang Manmi accepted the order happily, but she did not forget to throw a few flirtatious glances at Yang Wu. Her feelings were clear to see. Yang Wu suppressed his anger and cursed in his heart. If this continues, someone's going to die. His self-control had always been outstanding, but Yang Manmi had an innate talent in charming people, and she had expressed her love for him without holding anything back. It had not been easy for him to hold himself back until now. There were also some elders in the clan who suggested that Yang Wu and Yang Manmi give birth to a child, so that he would definitely become the strongest child in the clan. Even his great-grandmother, Gong Xilan, had said the same thing. Manmi was born with a meridian-replenishing body. Her greatest task in life is to give birth to the strongest child for our clan, and you have an atavistic body. The child you give birth to with her will definitely be the strongest. Yang Wu did not know how to respond to this. He had many women, and if he kept Wan Lanxin by his side, she would probably be the first to disagree. And he really did not have any improper thoughts about Yang Manmi. Yang Wu shook off these thoughts. Just as he was preparing to deal with other matters, someone suddenly came to report, "Clan Elder, Mount Hing Sec's Wang Yuyang has an urgent matter and wishes to see you. Quickly invite him in," Yang Wu immediately replied. "Clan Elder Yang Wu, you should quickly save the young miss." Chapter 1465. Yang Wu and Shu Yujun had already become husband and wife, and their relationship had long been confirmed. The Yang clan and Mount Hing sect were also alliance leaders. Mount Hing sect had supported the Yang clan many times, and it was all related to Shu Yujun. When Wang Yuyang saw Yang Wu, he immediately asked for help from Yang Wu, which instantly scared Yang Wu out of his seat. "What happened to Yujun?" Yang Wu said with a worried expression. Wang Yuyang's breathing was very messy, and his clothes were tattered and stained with blood. It was obvious that he had rushed to the Yang clan after a fierce battle, and did not have time to change his clothes. The situation was probably urgent. Not long ago, our Five Mountain sect held a meeting to select a new alliance leader. During the meeting, the sect leader defeated the other sect leaders and suppressed the previous alliance leader, successfully becoming the alliance leader. However, at this time, the other sects were not convinced and felt that the sect leader had secretly learned their sword scripture. Moreover, there was a spy who said that the sect leader had obtained the Five Mountain Sword scripture, and only after mastering it would he be able to seize the position of alliance leader. As a result, the other sects besieged the sect leader and wanted to force the sect leader to hand over the Five Mountain Sword scripture. The sect leader naturally denied it and even suppressed the others to continue being the alliance leader. At first, the other sects backed down, but when the left alliance leader of Mount Song sect refused to hand over the alliance leader token, he said that everything would have to wait until the situation was clear before making a fuss. Mount Song was the left alliance leader's territory and the sect leader couldn't do anything about it. After several failed attempts, the sect leader planned to return to the sect first. Unexpectedly, the people of Mount Song, Mount Tai and Mount Hua joined forces to besiege the alliance leader. The eldest miss was also in danger and couldn't escape. It was best if the Grand Protector rescued her, but not long ago, the Grand Protector sent a message saying that he was in danger and couldn't escape. "Where are they now?" Yang Wu asked anxiously. The Five Mountains sect had always been united, but in the past few hundred years, their relationship had gradually deteriorated, and there were already different voices. This time, the appearance of the Five Mountain Sword Sutra had completely ignited the fuse. The Five Mountain sects began to descend into chaos. The news of the Five Mountain Sword Manual definitely did not come from the mouth of Mount Hing sect. Perhaps other sects had long realized that the Five Mountain Sword Manual could be combined into one, and after Shu Yuqing turned the tables and seized first place, people with ulterior motives confirmed this conjecture. They used this as an excuse to send out a crusade against Mount Hing. Wang Yuyang replied, "The Supreme Guardian's last message was sent in the direction of the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. Go to the Dragon Phoenix Abyss immediately." Yang Wu did not hesitate at all. He swept up Wang Yuyang and flew out of the hall, then called Waguna and Yu Huijin over. The Yang family had already opened up a mountain range for the Crow tribe to live in. It was not far from the Yang family city, and Wu Guna was stationed within the Yang family city. Before Yu Huijin obtained her complete soul, she would not be able to leave Yang Wu. She would definitely be at his beck and call. In order to hurry, Yang Wu summoned the Thunder Tribulation Cloud and quickly flew in the direction of the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. Nothing must happen to Lord Yujun, Yang Wu said anxiously. The Dragon Phoenix Abyss. This was the place where the battle between the dragon and phoenix took place a few years ago. The supreme guardian of Mount Hing sect, Ning Zhoujing, brought Shu Yujun and landed in the middle of the dragon and phoenix veins. Mount Song, Mount Tai, and Mount Hua had sent out a total of 5 immortal ascension experts to surround them. As long as they captured the 2 of them alive, they might be able to obtain the 5 Mountain Sword Manual. Mount Song's Bai Lin and Zhonglian, Mount Tai's Bo Jiliang and Ing Yanfei, and Mount Hua's Jin Qirong. 5 immortal ascension experts surrounded Ning Zhoujing and Shu Yujun. It was definitely a big lineup. Ning Zhoujing had no choice but to charge into the Dragon Phoenix Abyss, hoping to make them hesitate. Unexpectedly, these fellows also charged into the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. The gravity in the Dragon Phoenix Abyss was abnormal, but it could not restrict the movements of these immortal ascension experts. Ning Zhoujing had been fighting continuously, and his strength was almost depleted. Moreover, he was seriously injured. If this continued, only death would await him. At this moment, they had escaped to the area where the Dragon Phoenix tree was. "Looks like we are doomed," Ning Zhoujing said in despair. At this place, the Dragon Phoenix tree's strength was astonishing, but it would not protect them. It had already sealed off the surroundings. "Ning Zhoujing, why do you keep struggling? Hand over the 5 Mountain Sword Manual, and you won't have to suffer so much," Mount Song's Bai Lin said faintly. This was a tall and thin old man. His eyes were gleaming and he wore a navy blue robe. He stroked his beard and looked high and mighty. This person's strength had reached the 5th level of the Celestial Pattern Realm, and he was the strongest among the 5. His strength was comparable to Ning Zhoujing's. Before this, Ning Zhoujing's strength was not so strong. However, Yang Wu's betrothal gift contained the immortal liquid, which helped him soar to the 5th level of the Celestial Pattern Realm. Unfortunately, compared to a veteran of the 5th level of the Celestial Pattern Realm like Bai Lin, he was still a little lacking. Otherwise, if he wanted to escape, how would they be able to catch up? Previously, when they were surrounded, he had been able to force his way out. It was already quite impressive. "Bai Lin, we don't have the 5 Mountain Sword Manual. Don't go too far," Ning Zhoujing replied. "You're still quibbling even now. Let's take him down together and capture Shu Yuqing's daughter as well. I don't believe that we won't be able to find the real 5 Mountain Sword Manual after searching everyone in Mount Hing. Your Mount Song is not willing to hand over the position of Alliance Head, and you are slandering my Mount Hing. Even if I die, I will drag you down with me," Ning Zhoujing said domineeringly, holding his broken sword. Just as they were about to make their move, Mount Hua's Jin Qirong said, "Everyone, please listen to me." After pausing for a moment, he said, "Brother Ning, you and I are brothers. I really don't want you to walk towards destruction. Mount Hing did indeed steal our Mount Hua's Western Mountain Sword Manual. Our eyes are not blind. I don't know how you guys managed to combine the chance of the 5 Mountain Sword Manual, but I hope that you guys can contribute it. This will definitely be an opportunity for our 5 mountain sects to soar. Our 5 mountain sects have always been of the same breadth and branch. Otherwise, it will be broken." "That's right. We don't want to annex Mount Hing. It's your Mount Hing that broke the rules and stole the sword manuals of the other 4 mountains. This matter cannot be left alone. Unless you hand over the entire 5 Mountain Sword Manual, the 5 Mountain Sect will become the 4 Mountain Sect from now on," Mount Tai's Bo Jiliang said. Without waiting for Ning Zhoujing to reply, Shu Yujun stepped forward and said, "You stole in the open and stole in secret, yet you still make it sound so dignified. You are truly shameless." Then he continued, "I presume that your sword manuals are kept very strictly. Who would have such a great method to secretly learn them? Even if my Mount Hung obtained another complete sword manual, it would have nothing to do with you. Don't try to set up a memorial arch, I'll look down on you. You sharp-tongued girl. I'll kill you first." Mount Tai's In Yanfei said and attacked Shu Yujun. In Yanfei was the only female among the heavenly masters. Her attack was extremely vicious, and she wanted to kill Shu Yujun with a single slap. Ning Zhoujing protected Shu Yujun and blocked In Yanfei's attack. At this moment, Zhong Jiliang and Bo Jiliang also made their move. These people had already sealed off the area. It would not be easy for Ning Zhoujing to escape. At the critical moment, numerous dragon phoenix vines appeared. A faint voice rang out, "Do you want to die for messing around in my territory?" The dragon phoenix tree appeared. The power of the restriction dissipated, and a divine tree with dragons and phoenixes appeared. The dragon phoenix fruit on its body was gone, but it was still full of treasures. Everyone's eyes lit up. Everyone knew that there was a dragon phoenix tree in the dragon phoenix abyss. However, only a few people could get close to it. This time, it had taken the initiative to appear and gave everyone a big fright. Ning Zhoujing did not hesitate to pull Shu Yujun in the direction of the dragon phoenix tree. His thoughts were simple. Even if he was killed by the dragon phoenix tree, he did not want to be caught and killed by these people. Not good. Capture them quickly. Bai Lin shouted and attacked Ning Zhoujing first. The others also unleashed their power and attacked Ning Zhoujing. The earth-shattering power of the heavenly masters instantly enveloped the area and the dragon phoenix tree. These heavenly masters could ignore the restrictions here, but this place was extremely dangerous. Many heavenly masters were buried here. If they dared to make such a big fuss, they would be courting death. "You are courting death," the dragon phoenix tree said. Its vines formed a dense wall of vines, and the ground opened up. A terrifying passage appeared, and a terrifying evil spirit blew out from it, blowing away all the attacks from the heavenly masters. The evil spirit floated in the air, forming a land of extinction. Even the heavenly masters could not withstand it. Everyone was shocked. They did not care about the battle and quickly retreated. The underground passage was a place of restriction, and it was also the place where the dragon phoenix tree was suppressed. The reason why the dragon phoenix tree had been suppressed here all these years was not unrelated to this passage. Roar! Yo! The cries of a real dragon and a phoenix rang out. The power of the dragon and the phoenix formed an evil spirit that rushed toward the heavenly masters. This was the power that the dragon phoenix tree could rely on. These two powers also contained an extreme evil spirit and a trace of the qi of heaven and earth. They were extremely powerful. Ning Zhoujing was injured. In order to protect Shu Yujun, he was attacked by the dragon aura. He and Shu Yujun were sent flying. The others were lucky enough to escape and did not get killed by the dragon phoenix tree. "Haha, this is effortless. Ning Zhoujing, let's see how you can escape." Bai Lin laughed maniacally and grabbed in the direction of Ning Zhoujing and Shu Yujun. "Grand Elder, let's kill ourselves." Shu Yujun's expression was resolute. She knew very well that once she fell into the hands of these people, her soul would be searched, and all her secrets would be gone. "Even if I die, I will protect your life." Ning Zhoujing was still struggling to speak. Just as they were about to be captured and killed, someone rushed in their direction. Chapter 1466. Ning Zhoujing was a level 5 Jade Moon Realm expert. Even though he was heavily injured, he was still not someone to be trifled with. He threw caution to the wind. A terrifying sword aura appeared on his body, and streaks of sword radiance shot towards those people. "You want to kill us? Let's see if you have the ability to do so." Ning Zhoujing roared. His power was exploding, and he was even burning his life essence. Bai Lin, Zhong Jisheng, Bo Jiliang, and Ing Yanfei all made their moves. Their skills were not weak, and only Jin Qirong could not bear to make a move. Jin Qirong and Ning Zhoujing were indeed old friends, but they could not afford to lose the Five Mountains sword scripture. That was why they came to pursue Ning Zhoujing. Although Mount Hua's sword techniques were unrivaled, they were still lacking compared to Mount Shu. If they could obtain the Five Mountains sword scripture, they would definitely be on equal footing with Mount Shu. In addition, he also wanted to know how the West Mountain sword scripture was leaked. The Five Mountains sect had only leaked the basic sword scriptures. The important chants were never leaked to outsiders, and there were various restrictions. Even if the disciples cultivated, they could only obtain the chants layer by layer. If others snatched them, they would not obtain the complete chant. Mount Heng must have obtained the chants of the sword scriptures from the Five Mountains sect. That was why they could cultivate such a unique sword technique. Otherwise, Shu Yuqing's sword technique would not be able to restrain the others' sword technique. Moreover, some people had already realized that the Five Mountains sword scriptures would combine into a supreme sword scripture. However, no one dared to say it out loud, fearing that it would cause a fight between the Five Mountains sect. Now that Mount Hing's sect had taken the lead, it was inevitable that they would be spied on. Shu Yujun, who was in the heaven-reaching battlefield, was under great pressure. She was only at the mid-level Star Rune realm. If she did not wear the divine armor, she would have been killed by the sword aura when it brushed past her. She was still unable to participate in a battle of this level. She was sent flying while vomiting blood. Ing Yanfei took the opportunity to rush towards her. "I'll capture you first. Are you afraid that old Ning will not surrender?" Ning Zhoujing was surrounded by 4 people, and could not spare time to save Shu Yujun. He tried his best to save her, but he was stabbed several times and was in danger of dying. "If you dare to touch a single strand of her hair, I won't let you off even if I die," Ning Zhoujing shouted as he vomited blood. "Hee hee, you still dare to threaten me at this point? I'll destroy her face first." Ing Yanfei sneered and bound Shu Yujun. As long as Shu Yujun came in front of her, she would scratch Shu Yujun's face. "Goodbye, husband." Shu Yujun was in despair. "You dare to disfigure her? Even if you die 10,000 times, it won't be enough." An earth-shattering roar sounded from not far away. In the distance, a huge crow was flying over quickly. Its speed was incomparably fast, and on its back stood a few figures. It was Yang Wu, Yu Huijin, and Wang Yuyang who had arrived late. Ing Yanfei did not take this warning to heart. She was a second-level Jade Moon expert. How could she be threatened by others? The more she was threatened, the more she wanted to deal with Shu Yujun. "No one can save you," Ing Yanfei said disdainfully and clawed at Shu Yujun's face. "How dare you?" Yang Wu was enraged. In the next moment, he disappeared from the crow's back. Void travel technique. In the past, when Yang Wu first entered the Dragon Phoenix Abyss, he could not even fly. This place had a natural suppressive effect. Now that he had reached the 9th-level Star Rune realm and had the power of a war god, he could ignore the suppressive effect here. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of Ing Yanfei and slashed at her wrist. Yang Wu's speed was like a ghost. By the time Ing Yanfei reacted, Yang Wu's hand had already landed. Ah! Yang Wu did not hold back at all. His strength was extremely great, and his qi was incomparably sharp. He directly cut off Ing Yanfei's wrist, causing her to scream in pain. Ing Yanfei was a second-level Jade Moon expert. Her wrist was cut off by a saint. If this matter were to spread, no one would believe it. But Yang Wu did it. He could slay a god with just his physical strength. Coupled with the power of his Xian Qi, he did not fear mid-level god realm creatures. Cutting off Ing Yanfei's arm was nothing. Yang Wu kicked out again and sent Ing Yanfei flying. If not for the fact that he wanted to appease Shu Yujun, he would have killed her already. He first held Shu Yujun in his arms and checked her aura, afraid that something would happen to her. Husband, I'm fine. Quickly go save Grand Elder Ning. Shu Yujun said anxiously. Don't worry. I'm here. He'll be fine. Yang Wu said in a low voice. In the next moment he shouted, Take them all down. Yu Huijin rushed over. His overlord aura spread out in all directions, scaring all the divine masters present into retracting their powers. You're behaving atrociously in my territory. You're looking down on me. The dragon phoenix tree appeared again. It controlled the power of a dragon and a phoenix and rushed towards Yu Huijin. Yang Wu shouted, Dragon phoenix tree, don't you want the immortal elixir? As soon as he finished speaking, the power of the dragon phoenix tree stopped. It's you. When the dragon phoenix tree spirit saw Yang Wu, it was surprised. Let me take care of them first. I'll catch up with you. Yang Wu replied. At this moment, Bai Lin, Zhonglian, and the others turned and ran. They did not dare to stay. An overlord-level character had descended. What did they have to fight against him? Gugu, do you think I don't exist? Wuguna shouted a few times, and a frightening dark aura enveloped those people, blocking their path. Yu Huijin stepped in the air like an ice fairy. She locked onto their auras. If they dared to move, only death would await them. Who are you? Bai Lin's face was filled with fear. It's Yang Wu of the Yang family. I've seen him once at the Dao Verification Assembly. Zhonglian replied. When did the Yang family get to interfere with our 5 mountain sects' affairs? Bo Jilyang said unhappily. Jin Qirong did not speak. His face was calm. He did not kill Ning Zhoujing. He did not think anything would happen to him. Yanfei held her broken wrist and looked at Yang Wu with hatred. It was as if she wanted to cut the Yang family into pieces. To be able to regrow a broken wrist, one had to be at least an overlord. Yanfei did not have this qualification. She used a god-tier bone-forming pill to regenerate her wrist. Ning Zhoujing was saved. However, he was heavily injured. His body was riddled with holes. He looked really pitiful. Yang Wu brought Shu Yujun to Ning Zhoujing. The old man smiled bitterly. You came just in time. Otherwise, I would have gone to see the King of Hell. Don't say any more. Eat the pill first. Leave the rest to me. Yang Wu said. He stuffed a healing pill into Ning Zhoujing's mouth. In addition, he poured some second-grade immortal liquid on his wounds to speed up his recovery. Shu Yujun said with heartache, Damn this guy. He was so ruthless. How do you want to deal with them? Yang Wu turned to Shu Yujun. Kill them. Shu Yujun said without hesitation. Young miss, you can't. Wang Yuyang rushed over and replied. They wanted to kill us. Why can't we kill them? Shu Yujun replied. If we kill them, we will be violating the 5 mountains sects' taboo of killing each other. When the time comes, there will be no turning back. Wang Yuyang said. Then, he added, we can capture them first and resolve our Mount Hing sect's crisis. What? They've already attacked our Mount Hing? Ning Zhoujing said in shock. The 3 major sects came together to suppress them. The situation is critical. The sect is worried about young Mrs. safety and told me to inform young master. Fortunately, I made it in time. Wang Yuyang replied. Quick, return to the sect immediately. Ning Zhoujing said anxiously. Capture them first. Yang Wu ordered. Let's go. Let's see who dares to stop us. Bai Lin shouted. He used all his strength to escape. He used the fastest speed he had ever used in his life. As long as he escaped this space, he would have a chance to live. Unfortunately, he had only flown for less than 3 kilometers when a terrifying force descended and tore his back apart, directly grabbing him back. You think you can escape from me with this little strength? You're looking down on me. Yu Huijin said lightly. The others broke out in cold sweat and did not dare to move. Yang Wu, this is our 5 mountain sects matter. If you interfere, our sect will not let your Yang clan off easily. Zhonglian looked at Yang Wu and said. Hee, I don't care about your 5 mountain sex matters, but I won't allow you to deal with my wife, Yang Wu sneered. Then, he said, you all want the 5 mountain sword sutra? Don't you know that this is my betrothal gift to the Mount Hing sect? Everyone present was instantly stunned. Bullshit, how could the 5 mountain sword manual fall into the hands of an outsider like you? Bo Jilyang shouted. Believe it or not, today you hurt my wife. You have to pay the price. First, I'll cut off one of your arms. Yang Wu announced. After Yang Wu's voice fell, a few screams sounded. Yu Huijin had 5 more arms in her hand. Even Jin Qirong could not escape. Brother Ning, I didn't want to hurt you, Jin Qirong said with a pained expression. Ning Zhoujing did not answer. Even if Jin Qirong was merciful, he was still here for the 5 mountain sword manual. Yang Wu, you won't have a good ending for doing this. If you know what's good for you, Bo Jilyang said unrepentantly. Kill him. Pooh. Bo Jilyang's head flew off in an instant. His eyes widened, unable to believe this was reality. Without waiting for him to speak again, Wu Guna flew over and ate his head with his mouth. The taste of a human is just SOSO. Not enough to fill the gaps between my teeth. Wu Guna said unhappily. The others were scared silly. Yang Wu was not joking with them. Chapter 1467. Yu Huijin sealed by Lin, Zhonglian, Jin Qirong, and Ing Yanfei's powers. She had many tricks up her sleeve, so it wasn't hard for her to block their Dantian's power. Their faces were ashen, and they could only pray that Yang Wu wouldn't lose his mind and kill them all. Let's go, let's leave this place first. Yang Wu summoned Wu Guna and left with them. He didn't leave immediately, as he still had things to say to the Dragon Phoenix Tree. Shu Yujun didn't ask any more questions. Ever since Yang Wu appeared, her heart had calmed down. My eyes are really good, Shu Yujun said proudly in her heart. Over 10 years ago, when she fell in love with Yang Wu, she had been stubbornly following him, never leaving him. Finally, she got her reward. Yang Wu had helped her improve her strength, and he would always save her from danger at the most crucial moment. She was extremely satisfied. With such a husband, there was no need to ask for anything else. I have urgent matters to attend to, so I won't stay for long. Do you have anything good to exchange for the immortal elixir? Yang Wu looked at the old tree that looked like a dragon and phoenix and asked. The dragon phoenix tree spirit was stunned. It thought that Yang Wu would obediently give it the immortal elixir if he stayed. That wasn't how things were supposed to go. Aren't you afraid that I'll kill you? And rob you? The dragon phoenix tree spirit said. Haha, if I was afraid, I wouldn't stay. Take out something good to exchange, or I'll leave. Yang Wu said calmly. This was the first time the dragon phoenix tree spirit had seen such an arrogant brat. However, he was much stronger than he was a few years ago, so he had the right to negotiate. In the past, it was only afraid of the little hay dog by his side. This time, the little hay dog wasn't here, so it seemed like it could just rob him? It hesitated for a while, but didn't do so. Could it offend a youth who could casually take out immortal elixir? Others didn't know the origin of the immortal elixir, but how could it not know? Without the immortal liquid, it would never be able to break through in its lifetime. If it could obtain another immortal liquid, it would still have room for improvement. Therefore, it could only obediently take out some divine items to trade with Yang Wu. Be it Dragon Phoenix fruit, Dragon Phoenix vine, Dragon Phoenix sap, etc., as long as it had something good on it, Yang Wu would take it all. However, he was unable to obtain another innate divine sword like the Dragon and Phoenix sword. In addition, he had also harvested a large number of holy items related to dragons and phoenixes from the territory of the Dragon Phoenix tree. These were all good things to supplement the Yang family. Yang Wu handed a drop of immortal liquid to the Dragon Phoenix tree and prepared to leave. Can you prepare a few more drops of immortal liquid for me next time? The Dragon Phoenix tree pleaded. It then added, I can open this void passage for you. Yang Wu raised his eyebrows and said, "We'll see when the time comes." In the next moment, he quickly rushed out of the Dragon Phoenix abyss. There was mystic essence chi at the end of the passage, so he would definitely return. However, he couldn't appear to be in such a rush. He'd wait until the next time. Yang Wu exited the Dragon Phoenix abyss, mounted Waguna's back, and sped toward the Hung Mountain sect. Waguna wasn't slow at all. It could travel thousands of kilometers in a flash. If it traveled at full speed, it would also reach the Hung Mountain sect in no time. "Husband, you must help the Hung Mountain sect," Shu Yujun pleaded. "Don't worry. With me here, the Hung Mountain sect will be fine," Yang Wu said confidently. He didn't know that the Hung Mountain sect was already in shambles. The Hung Mountain sect was a first-rate faction. Together with the other 4 sects, it was known as the Five Mountain sect. But now, with the Five Mountain sect's internal strife and the 3 sects attacking the Hung Mountain sect at the same time, the Hung Mountain sect was in a precarious situation. The Hung Mountain sect had already activated the sect-protecting divine formation. Powerful sword auras rose to the top, keeping the enemies at bay. One old man after another walked out of the sitting death pass. These were the old cards of the Hung Mountain sect. "Mount Song, Mount Tai, Mount Hua, you're shameless enough," an old man said with a hoarse voice. "My Hung Mountain has so many disciples, but more than half of them are dead. Is this what you call being of the same breath and branch? We can't kill each other." "Today I've learned something new," another old man said. "Looks like the Five Mountain sect's people have been corrupted. Then let's clean them up." The 4 old bastards of the Mount Hing school rushed out of the mountain-protecting sword formation and started fighting with the heaven-reaching masters of the 3 major sections. The powerful master of Mount Song, Grand Preceptor Zhua, looked down at the old men of Hing Mountain and said coldly, "You stole the sword manuals of the other sections. This is a heinous crime. Why don't you take the initiative to hand it over?" Grand Preceptor Zhua was not afraid of these old men of the Hung Mountain sect. His strength was already at the level of an overlord. He was once the leader of the Five Mountain sect. After leaving his position, he finally reached the level of an overlord after thousands of years of bitter cultivation. In the new round of overlord competition, there would definitely be a place for him in the top 100. With the appearance of the Five Mountain Sword Manual, Grand Preceptor Zhua naturally couldn't wait to fight for it. He was the one who ordered the attack on the Hung Mountain sect. If Grand Preceptor Zhua obtained the Five Mountain Sword Manual, he would have hope of reaching the Nine Sun Realm. This was because he had learned of the existence of the Five Mountain Sword Manual from the words left behind by his ancestors. He had been collecting other sword manuals and had already obtained 3 of them. If he gathered the sword manuals of Mount Hung and Mount Hung, he would be able to complete the Five Mountain Sword Manual. With the 5 sword manuals combined, he would definitely become the strongest sword master. It would not be impossible for him to reach the supreme throne. Other than Grand Preceptor Zhua, there were 7 other masters with extraordinary strength. They came from Mount Tai and Mount Hua. A total of 8 powerful masters besieging the Hung Mountain sect. It could be said that they gave the Hung Mountain sect enough face. They didn't attack the martial artists below the level of heaven ascension. Instead, they let the people they brought deal with them. It would be a joke if the 3 major sects couldn't take down the Hung Mountain sect. Grand Preceptor Zhua, you've always been a man with wild ambitions. Many years have passed and you've still been the same. Now that the Hung Mountain sect is the leader, you're not convinced. You even killed so many of our disciples. Today, even if we die with you, we'll drag you down with us. An old man of the Hung Mountain sect shouted. He took out his sword and shouted, 4 symbols sword formation, rise. At the same time, the other 3 old men in the other directions drew their swords at the same time. Their majestic aura combined together and transformed into the azure dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, and black tortoise. They charged towards Grand Preceptor Zhua. 4 different types of sword Dao. Boundless sword chi. The damage was quite shocking. When the four of them combined, they had the combat power to challenge an overlord. This was the true foundation of the Heng Mountain sect. You're old. This is called the Four Symbols Formation. Grand Preceptors was shouted. The long sword on his back flew out. He didn't seem to have done anything, but 100,000 feet long sword light slashed down from the sky. The destructive power was incomparably shocking. The four symbols collided with the power of this sword, instantly causing great destruction. Rumble, rumble. Sword chi crisscrossed the sky above Heng Mountain. Wave after wave of sword waves shook in all directions. The disciples at the foot of Heng Mountain were all frightened by this terrifying power. Their legs trembled. Why is there suddenly internal strife? Is it because our sect master won the position of leader? They're not necessarily better than us. They're really damned bastards. Is our Heng Mountain going to be finished? Those goddamn bastards, let me go out and fight them. If our Heng Mountain doesn't die today, we'll definitely destroy the Song Mountain sect, Taishan sect, and Huashan sect in the future. The four old men of the Heng Mountain sect fought to the death with Grand Preceptor Zhua. They didn't have much time left. Now that they were fighting, they hoped to drag Grand Preceptor Zhua down from his high horse and give the Heng Mountain sect a chance to breathe. Within the sect's protective formation, Shu Yuqing gripped a divine sword. His eyes flashed with fire. You've gone too far. You've gone too far. I'm going to kill you all. This divine sword was the Southern Peak Divine Sword, the #1 divine sword of the Heng Mountain sect. With it, he could combine with the divine formation and unleash god-level combat power. Sect Master, don't be rash. We've already asked for support from our allies. As long as we persevere, they'll flee. A half-step ingress cultivator tried to persuade Shu Yuqing. With the divine formation's support, I can kill 1 or 2 of them. Shu Yuqing shouted and shot into the sky. At this moment, he poured all of his power into the divine sword. The Xian Qi around Mount Heng instantly gushed out and gathered towards him. This was the power of fortune that the Mount Heng sect had accumulated for hundreds of thousands of years. Together with the power of the divine formation, it was like a rainbow that slashed towards the other heavenly reaching realm cultivators. Heng Mountain is really gone. What do you think, your Shu Yuqing? Obediently hand over the 5 Mountains Sword Manual. Otherwise, your Heng Mountain sect will be razed to the ground today. Another ingress cultivator from Mount Song shouted. The ingress cultivator from Mount Tai also said, "That's right. How dare you steal the sword manuals of our sections? You deserve to die." As they spoke, rays of sword chi burst out from their bodies. Everyone's sword Dao was different. The power of their slashes was also different. Some were like the mountain sword Dao, while others were like the raging fire sword Dao. Their overwhelming power blasted toward Shu Yuqing. You worthless bastards! You want to destroy my Heng Mountain? Try again in your next life. Shu Yuqing slashed out with stunning power. The blue light transformed into the Mount Heng sword, crushing and crashing towards them. Boom! Boom! The sword chi kept crisscrossing and the clouds were all cleared. The falling sword chi flattened the mountains that were not protected by the divine formation. Many creatures in the distance kept running, not daring to get close to this place at all. Even the Whitewater clan, who was not too far away, did not dare to act rashly. A battle of this level was no longer something they could participate in. Shu Yuqing was only at the high-level star pattern realm. Today, he was borrowing the power of the divine formation to fight. Although he had unleashed a very strong battle strength, there were a total of 7 ingress cultivators on the other side. He could not do anything to them. He could not even kill a single one of them. His connection with the divine formation was also cut off. He was shocked. Oh no! He had flown too high and his connection with the divine formation was too weak. That was why others had taken advantage of him. Haha, you delivered yourself to me. Let's see where you can run to. The ingress cultivator of Mount Song laughed wildly and grabbed at Shu Yuqing. Just as Shu Yuqing was in despair, the cry of a crow rang out. Caw. Chapter 1468. Shu Yuqing was already in despair. Their Mount Hing sect had many allies, but distant water couldn't put out a nearby fire. It was too difficult for them to rush over to help. Besides, some of their allies would probably pretend not to know when they heard that Mount Hing was in trouble. Mount Hing had already sent people to ask for help, but no one had come after so long. He had already expected this. It's all my fault. If it weren't for this position, I wouldn't have leaked the news of the 5 Mountain Sword Manual so early. In 100 or 1,000 years, this news would be exposed again. Even if they worked together, they wouldn't be able to do anything to us. Damn it. Shu Yuqing was incomparably vexed. Originally, after Yang Wu had passed it to Shu Yujun, he didn't want her to tell anyone in the Mount Hing sect. In the end, she had told her father. Shu Yuqing had successfully obtained the position of alliance leader, so naturally, he had cultivated the 5 Mountain Sword Manual. Prematurely revealing the existence of the 5 Mountain Sword Manual had led to this fatal disaster. Just as he thought he was going to die, a huge crow flew over. It spat out a black arrow from its beak, shooting towards the immortal Ascension expert who was about to capture him. The crow's strength was shocking, and the arrow's power was terrifying. It scared the immortal Ascension expert so much that he quickly retreated. However, the black arrow still shot towards him, scaring him. Just as the arrow was about to land on him, a sword light flashed, cutting it down. Where did this beast come from? The man with the golden sword shouted. This man's background was not small. He was one of the Taishan sect's grand enforcers, Hichinji. He was an expert who had been accumulating strength for a long time. In the past, he had been a nobody. Only after killing a peak saint on the bounty list did people learn of the Taishan sect's existence. Later, he had risen to the Jade Moon realm, and now he was a 4th-level Jade Moon. He was one of the candidates for the position of Overlord. Other than the Grand Tutor Zhua, he was the most eye-catching person. The crow replied, I am your ancestor. You're courting death. Hichinji shouted, raising his golden sword and slashing at the crow. An incomparably stunning sword light pierced through the air. The golden light was filled with a sharp killing intent. Anyone who touched it would die. At the Jade Moon realm, one could possess the power of a full moon. He Chen's sword moon descent was an astonishing sight. This crow was not any weaker than him. It turned into a black light and dodged his sword energy, heading straight for Shu Yuqing. You want to save him? No way. Hichinji could sense Crow's intentions, and he changed the direction of his sword to attack Shu Yuqing. There was no way Shu Yuqing could escape. There were still a few omnipotent realm warriors surrounding him. You're too slow. Wuguna raised its speed to the limit. With a provocative cry, it broke through the other reaching heaven's line of defense and saved Shu Yuqing. When it saved Shu Yuqing, the golden sword chi would land on its body. A claw tore through the void and descended, crushing the power of the sword into pieces. The claw had appeared so suddenly that Hichinji couldn't react in time. By the time he realized it, his attack had already disappeared. What? Hichinji cried out. His power was comparable to a level 5 Jade Moon, but it had been torn apart by a single claw. The newcomer had to be stronger than him. Father-in-law, your son-in-law is late, a calm voice said softly. Shu Yuqing, who had landed on the crow's back, came back to his senses. He saw an outstanding youth standing on his back. He was like the Son of God, with an awe-inspiring, celestial air about him. Yang Wu. Shu Yuqing wondered if his eyes were playing tricks on him, or if he was seeing things. It wasn't the first time he'd seen Yang Wu. For some reason, seeing him now gave him a completely different feeling. No, it should be said that every time he saw Yang Wu, he had a completely different feeling. Each time he saw Yang Wu, he was more outstanding than the last. His aura was shockingly changing, becoming more perfect and dazzling. Without waiting for Yang Wu's reply, Shu Yujun's voice rang out. "All right, father, are you all right?" Shu Yuqing's gaze finally landed on his daughter beside Yang Wu. After confirming that it was her, he said excitedly, "Hurry and leave. Mount Song, Mount Tai, and Mount Hua have joined forces against Mount Heng. Even that Grand Tutor Zhua has come. The old protectors may not be able to stop him." Shu Yuqing's mind was still clear. He wasn't excited about being rescued. Instead, he immediately reminded his daughter and son-in-law to leave. An overlord-level expert wasn't someone they could fight against. "Father-in-law, don't worry. Your son-in-law came to help. How can I leave? Just watch us from now on." After saying this, Yang Wu jumped off Wuguna's back. "Wuguna, protect the mistress and my father-in-law. Huaijin, you go deal with that Grand Tutor Zhua. Leave the others to me." "How can Ning Zhoujing be left out for those who offend Mount Heng?" Ning Zhoujing shouted. He quickly charged out to deal with He Qinji and the others with Yang Wu. Bai Lin, Zhonglian, Jin Qirong, and Ing Yanfei were bound to Wuguna's body. They weren't used as hostages to threaten the other party. This was Yang Wu's idea. Ever since he'd reached the 9-star rune realm, he hadn't had a good fight with an immortal ascension cultivator. These people were perfect for practice. "Ning Zhoujing, you're actually still alive?" He Qinji asked in surprise when he saw Ning Zhoujing. "Are you surprised?" Ning Zhoujing asked in return. "Where are Grand Elder Bai and the others?" He Qinji asked solemnly. "Haha, they're already waiting for you in hell." Ning Zhoujing laughed coldly. He took the initiative to attack He Qinji. Along the way, he'd already recovered from his injuries and strength. It was enough to deal with He Qinji. Bulsh *T. "I'll take you down and interrogate you properly." He Qinji's realm wasn't as high as Ning Zhoujing's, but he wasn't afraid of him. Just as he was about to face him, another immortal ascension cultivator came over and said, "Let's join forces and take him down." This immortal ascension cultivator came from Hua Mountain. His strength wasn't any weaker than Ning Zhoujing's. At the same time, Yang Wu was also facing off against the immortal ascension cultivators. Other than the Grand Tutor Zhua, there were a total of 7 immortal ascension cultivators. They sealed off the area around the Mount Hing sect, not allowing anyone from the Mount Hing sect to go out and ask for help. 2 of them were dealing with Ning Zhoujing, 3 of them sealed off the area, and 2 of them were free to deal with Yang Wu. These 2 were Qin Yungao from the Mount Song sect and Tan Lwei from the Hua Mountain sect. One was at the 2nd level of the Jade Moon Realm, while the other was at the 1st level of the Jade Moon Realm. Their strength was relatively weaker, but it was enough to deal with Yang Wu. Yang Wu, the patriarch of the Yang family, the youngest divine apothecary in history. Why do you have to involve yourself in the matters of the 5 Mountains sect? If you leave now, you can still live. Qin Yungao was an old man, and he warned Yang Wu with a hoarse voice. "You're already so old. It's better for you to go home and rest. This kind of power struggle isn't suitable for an old man like you to participate in. Otherwise, you won't have a good ending." Yang Wu retorted sarcastically. "Sigh, if you don't listen to my kind words, then a divine apothecary is destined to fall today. It's really a tragedy for the transcendent." Qin Yungao sighed softly and suddenly attacked. One-finger sword. He pointed a finger at Yang Wu, and a sword ray shot towards Yang Wu. This was his innate strength. The speed of this finger was shockingly fast, and it was also incomparably sharp, making it difficult to guard against. At the same time, Tan Lwei, who was in another direction, also attacked. She directly drew her sword, and a green sword ray fell like a meteor, landing on Yang Wu in the blink of an eye. These 2 were indeed omnipotent experts. They cooperated quite well. It was fine if they didn't attack, but if they did, it would be fatal. They wouldn't be careless just because Yang Wu was at the Star Rune Realm. For Yang Wu to be able to become a divine apothecary, He definitely had the strength of a divine apothecary. He was a monster that couldn't be judged by common sense. After training in the divine firmament battlefield, Yang Wu returned to the Transcendence world. He was restrained, and his combat strength had become unfathomable. The attacks of these two people might be very strong in the eyes of others, but to him they were nothing. He raised 2 fingers and slashed out in 2 different directions. "I'll let you have a taste of the power of the magnetic sword finger," said Yang Wu as he slashed out 2 magnetic sword fingers. The magnetic force was incomparably powerful. With a slash of the sword, it cut off Chen Yungao's sword fingers and even fell towards Chen Yungao. The other finger cut off Tan Lwei's sword qi. The magnetic force was much stronger than her sword qi. The two of them didn't expect Yang Wu's combat strength to be so powerful. They were injured by Yang Wu's magnetic sword. Tan Lwei was weaker, so she didn't even have the ability to dodge Yang Wu's sword finger. Her divine armor was broken, and the magnetic force directly pierced through her chest. Such powerful strength. Tan Lwei covered her wound and retreated frantically, exclaiming in her heart. This sword had already injured her internal organs. If she hadn't reached the Jade Moon realm and had tenacious vitality, this sword would have taken her life. On the other side, Chen Yungao wasn't having a good time either. His shoulder was almost cut off by this sword. Fortunately, he dodged quickly. "You're so arrogant with just this bit of strength. I don't know where you get your confidence from," said Yang Wu as he opened his palm. The terrifying power of a tsunami enveloped the two of them. The other 3 Tongtian experts, who were sealed off in different directions, all revealed looks of shock. The commotion Yang Wu had caused was too great. It was difficult for them not to notice him. "Not good. This kid is too powerful. We have to take him down," cried another Tongtian. "That's right. Otherwise, we'll be defeated one by one." "Call for divine weapons," said another person in the south. "Chen Yungao and Tan Lwei are really trash. I can take him down alone." Riding on a tiger demon in the north, the Tongtian roared and charged at Yang Wu. This was a Tongtian expert on the same level as He Qinji. He was Mount Song's consecrated divine swordsman, Huang Jizi. Chapter 1469. The divine swordsman, Huang Jizi, was once a rogue cultivator who had obtained a fortuitous encounter. After cultivating to the pinnacle of the Saint Realm, he found it difficult to make any further progress. Later on, in order to break through to the Jade Moon Realm, he joined the Mount Song sect and cultivated the Middle Mountain Sword Scripture. Finally, he broke through to the Jade Moon Realm with his talent and perseverance. After thousands of years of cultivation, he continued to raise his realm and reached the 4th level of the Jade Moon Realm. Even today, he was only a consecrator of the Mount Song sect in name and had yet to become the sect's supreme protector. The reason was that he was extremely ambitious and wasn't willing to stay in the sect. He wanted to create a career for himself while he was still alive. Unfortunately, with imperial tutors were around, he didn't have the guts to do so. This time, he found out about the existence of the 5 Mountains Sword Scripture and was moved. If he could obtain it, he might be able to soar to the heavens and break away from the Mount Song sect in the future. For the 5 Mountains Sword Scripture, he naturally had to risk his life. As expected of the divine swordsman, he rode out on his tiger demon and slashed at Yang Wu with the shadowless sword in his hand. Bursts of untraceable sword shadows sealed off the sky for tens of thousands of miles. Moreover, they were constantly compressing, wanting to turn Yang Wu into a pool of blood. Yang Wu's tsunami palm enveloped Chen Yungao and Tan Lwei. The omnipresent palm imprints landed on the two of them, causing their divine bodies to explode. Yang Wu's fighting strength was too powerful, far surpassing the fighting strength of any celestial mark realm cultivator. The tsunami he formed had a terrifying tearing power. Tan Lwei felt helpless and panicked in the middle of the tsunami. How many years had it been since she had encountered such an encounter? Except when she was young, her strength wasn't enough. She only felt fear when she met a stronger opponent. His strength can't be so terrifying. I can definitely break through. Break for me. Tanlevway didn't want to die. She shouted in her heart and erupted with all her strength. Boundless sword chi crisscrossed. Wisps of green sword chi sank into the tsunami. Unfortunately, this little bit of strength was swept away by the tsunami. Even she couldn't control her body, and was smashed into pieces by the merciless power of the palm. How was this the fighting strength of a celestial Mark realm cultivator? The strength of a mid-level Jade Moon realm cultivator was only this much. Chen Yungao also had the same feeling of fear. After being slapped a few times, he was instantly stunned. One palm strike had shattered his divine body, one palm strike had sunk into his organs, and one palm strike had destroyed his meridians. His explosive power was like child's play in front of the other party. His tempered divine body was like a piece of paper that couldn't even withstand a single blow. Just as he was about to die, Huang Jizi's sword energy broke apart Yang Wu's tsunami power, reducing the pressure on him. Just as he thought he could escape death, a power bound his body and threw him toward the incoming yellow sword energy. No! Chen Yungao's eyes widened as he screamed. However, the outcome that awaited him did not change. His body and soul were obliterated by the powerful sword chi. Huang Jizi was furious. Yang Wu, you dare to kill me? You won't have a chance to live today. Roar. Suddenly, the mount he sat on roared angrily. The terrifying tiger's roar rushed toward Yang Wu's divine court. In addition, there was also a murderous aura floating. Waves of powerful demonic aura enveloped Yang Wu, causing him harm. The power of Huang Jizi's sword Dao and the murderous aura of the tiger demon's tiger's roar were extremely destructive. No matter who the opponent was, it would be difficult to resist. Yang Wu felt Huang Jizi's combat strength. Not only was he not afraid, he became even more excited. This is the kind of pressure I want. He ignored the tiger's roar. A mere tiger's roar was not enough to harm his soul. He absorbed the power of the stars from the 9 heavens. The majestic power of the stars continued to converge, forming an incomparably huge star power on his body. It was already comparable to the power of a jade moon. Tsunami palm. It was the same palm strike again. The power of the stars formed a vast ocean, sweeping up thousands of waves. The terrifying tsunami power collided with the waves of sword energy and murderous aura. Rumble! Rumble! The profound energy of heaven and earth splashed continuously. Every strand of profound energy was like a meteor streaking across the sky, forming a meteor shower. It was incomparably beautiful and gorgeous. The power of Yang Wu's tsunami palm was astonishing. It shattered the sword energy, but his palm force could not break through Yang Wu's attack. The power of the opponent's sword Dao was too terrifying. The power of the stars in the sky gathered in the sword Dao and shattered Yang Wu's palm force again and again. For the first time, the two of them were evenly matched. No one was more shocked than Huang Jizi. He thought that Yang Wu was strong because he was only at the 3rd level of the Jade Moon Realm. Who would have thought that he could even block his 4th level of the Jade Moon Realm? Could Yang Wu be the reincarnation of the Yang clan's ancestor? Otherwise, how could he be so powerful? His realm clearly seemed to be at the Star Rune realm. How could his combat strength be so abnormal? No one could imagine. Again. Yang Wu was excited. With a shout, he struck out with his palm again. He cultivated profound energy of water, and the power of the stars he absorbed was constantly converted into water energy. The endless power kept surging, and the merciless tsunami was enough to destroy everything. He raised his strength by another level, wanting to rely on pure strength to suppress Huang Jizi. Huang Jizi also raised his strength again. The sword in his hand burst forth with merciless sword energy, but every sword was vigorous and powerful. It broke through layers of space, making it difficult to block. The power of the tsunami destroyed the sword energy, and the sword energy cut through the sea. This shocking phenomenon caused the disciples of the Mount Hing sect to be incomparably shocked. Is it really the son-in-law fighting the opponent? Other than the son-in-law, who else could it be? So powerful. This time, our Mount Hing is saved. So I didn't approve of the son-in-law. He has the eldest miss, but he still went to seduce the saintess of the purple firmament hall. Today I admire him. Who told him to be so capable? I'd rather the son-in-law take the eldest miss away. Don't forget that Grand Preceptor Zwa of Mount Song is still there. Who can deal with him? No matter what, we have to fight to the end. Unless they annihilate us all, we'll definitely get our revenge in the future. They couldn't see the scene of the battle. They could only see the fluctuations, but that level of battle was already enough for them to look up to. Yang Wu and Huang Jizi fought speed with speed. Each wave of their attacks was stronger than the last. Yang Wu no longer used the tsunami palm. He turned his palm into a fist. The fist energy of a savage beast was sometimes like a savage bull, sometimes like a savage tiger, sometimes like a savage elephant. Its power was incomparably shocking. Huang Jizi's swordsmanship was also shocking. His mount, the tiger demon, could also participate in the battle. The sword and tiger worked together to tear through space, wreaking havoc in this part of the world. It was difficult to calm down for a long time. Yang Wu's attacks were still broken. The combat power of a mid-level Jade Moon Realm cultivator was too strong. Even if he had the ability to fight above his level, it was too difficult to defeat him without using a divine weapon. The Emperor Jade profound armor covering Yang Wu's body was also shattered. His back was furiously clawed by the tiger demon. A deep wound appeared on his back, so deep that his bones could be seen. Wuguna, who was watching from afar, shouted, "Master, smash his balls with the ancestral shield." Once Yang Wu activated the cauldron shield, even a high-level deity could be suppressed. He didn't want to do this. He only wanted to test his current strength. He decided not to use a divine weapon. "I'm done playing. I'll use you to test my void technique." Yang Wu shouted and escaped into the void. Void travel technique. Void hand. The greatest advantage of the void travel technique was that it allowed one to enter a crack in the void, making it impossible for others to determine the location of the existence. Warriors who didn't understand the void would be unable to discover the person who escaped into the void. They would then be mercilessly attacked. The void hand was also a method of attacking through the void. It attacked from a distance, making it impossible to guard against. After Yang Wu used his void technique, Huang Jizi was caught off guard. He lost track of Yang Wu and was slapped off the tiger demon's back. Without waiting for him to recover, Yang Wu used another killing move. The Netherworld ice-winged blade came slashing out. The tiger demon did not even have time to react before its body was sliced into two halves. Furthermore, an icy aura swept over its body and froze it. The aura of the Netherworld even robbed it of its best chance of survival. All of this happened too quickly. It gave Huang Jizi a big fright. "Yang Wu, get the hell out here!" Huang Jizi seemed to have gone mad. He waved his sword, forming a powerful mountain-shaped sword domain. It shattered the space within tens of thousands of miles, trying to force Yang Wu out. No one could underestimate the power of a Jade Moon powerhouse, not even Yang Wu. After the space within tens of thousands of miles was shattered, Yang Wu was forced out of the void. He had the Emperor Jade battle armor inside and the Black Tortoise battle armor outside. He forcibly blocked Huang Jizi's attacks and continued to close in on him. "Yang Wu, I'll kill you!" Huang Jizi was furious. His mount had accompanied him for many years, but now it was being slaughtered by Yang Wu. He couldn't tolerate this. Futu greatsword style. Huang Jizi raised his sword with both hands. A majestic power gathered. The power of the stars in the 9 heavens descended, forming a full moon. It then turned into a surging sword energy. Finally, the 10,000 swords merged into one, forming a sword technique that could slay gods and demons. It slashed down on Yang Wu. This terrifying divine sword technique was also Huang Jizi's strongest move. When this move appeared, heaven and earth seemed to be split open. It caused a terrifying commotion. Yang Wu felt the power of this sword. A black and white lotus appeared above his head. He shouted, "One move to decide the victor." The Tao of Life and Death. Chapter 1470. The Tao of Life and Death was born after death. The cycle of life and death was only a fine line between life and death. Yang Wu had wandered in the void crack for a period of time, meditating on the Tao of life and death. His understanding of the Tao of life and death had deepened. The Tao of life was derived from the divine Tung Qi. It devoured the vitality of all things in the world to strengthen one's own vitality. That was not enough. It also needed the endless power in the body. He had an immortal body and had immortal qi. He had the talent to self-heal. This was the immortal qi of life, the foundation of the Tao of life. The Tao of death was the martial path he had cultivated long ago. He understood the fear and despair of death. Life was fleeting. No one could resist it. The combination of life and death formed the Tao of life and death. Life and death were only a matter of thought. When the black and white lotus appeared, the sun and moon appeared at the same time. Yin and yang intersected. Lotuses bloomed with every step. Layers of death qi were formed. The foot of greatsword broke through the air and collided with the black and white lotus. Instantly, an incomparably terrifying power was stirred up. The space within a radius of 100,000 miles was constantly shattered, turning into a chaotic space. Rumble, rumble. Wave after wave of power collided endlessly. Deafening sounds rang out continuously. It was as if the world was about to collapse. The huge sword light slowly shattered. The black and white lotus was also shrinking. However, the residual power was very great. The divine Tung Qi devoured the opponent's vitality. The death Qi corroded the opponent's vitality. The two sides attacked simultaneously, stealing Huang Jizi's vitality. After reaching the divine realm, Huang Jizi's vitality was incomparably long. However, under the deprivation of these two powers, his vitality was rapidly fading. He was frightened. He felt the threat of the death energy. It was as if he had reached the end of his life in the blink of an eye. The black and white lotus enveloped him. He wanted to retreat and break the bindings, but he could not do so. Yang Wu had become the king of this domain. He controlled Huang Jizi's life and death. Carrying the boundless death qi, he attacked Huang Jizi. Starlight. Bang. Yang Wu performed the astral fist. A fist of boundless light shrouded the world. It also shrouded Huang Jizi's body. His vitality was at an extremely low point. His mind was in chaos. This fist completely destroyed his spirit and life. The black and white lotus exploded. Only endless starlight scattered. The sky slowly calmed down. There was only one figure floating on the ground. The other figure was nowhere to be found. Where is Huang Jizi? He was killed? The Empyrean powerhouse sealed in the distance said with a look of shock. He's finished. This Yang Wu is too scary. Hurry up and kill him while he's down. Another person said as he prepared to attack Yang Wu. However, at this moment, the two immortal ascendants of the Mount Hing school who had gone out rushed back. You pieces of trash destroyed my Mount Hing. We will not rest until you are dead. Someone roared. Another person called out, My Mount Hing has always been kind to others. You animals can't distinguish right from wrong and kill my Mount Hing disciples. This is unforgivable. The two heavenly masters had rushed back after receiving an urgent message. No matter what, Mount Hing was still a veteran faction. How could it not have a few young and strong heavenly reaching experts? After their return, the people of the Mount Hing sect saw hope for survival. As for the immortal ascendants who had come with Grand Tutor Zhua, they panicked. They had only sent a few people. They were relying on Grand Tutors was strength. As long as they could quickly suppress the old bastards of the Mount Hing school, victory would be in their grasp. Who knew that someone would come out of nowhere and ruin their plans? The two immortal ascendants and the one surrounding Ning Zhoujing didn't plan on fighting to the death. They rushed in Grand Tutors was direction. As long as Grand Tutors won, they would still win this battle. They were very confident in Grand Tutors Wa. He was the number one person of the Five Mountain sect. How could he not take down those old bastards? When they arrived near Grand Tutors was battlefield, they were completely dumbfounded. The number one person of the Five Mountain sects, Grand Tutors Wa, was being beaten to a pulp. Grand Tutors Wa was at the 7th level of the Jade Moon realm. He had the strength of a high-level heavenly reaching expert. He was ranked among the strongest in the transcendental world. There were no more than 200 people who could defeat him. He was publicly recognized as the number one person of the Five Mountain sect. Only a reclusive old monster from Mount Hua had the qualifications to fight him. No one else had the qualifications. If he personally led the battle, it wouldn't be too difficult to take down Mount Hung. Now it seemed that they had been overthinking things. That foreign woman was very strong. She was easily dealing with Grand Tutors Wa. She didn't even take him seriously. This contrast was too hard for them to accept. What are you waiting for? Come and help me. Grand Tutors Wa sensed the arrival of others and couldn't help but shout. Not only did the others not help, they quickly fled. Grand Tutors Wa, we won't be of much help even if we go. I will withdraw from the fight for the Five Mountain Sword Manual, Hichinji said and immediately fled. I don't want it either, another person said. The others made the same choice. They were not as strong as Grand Tutors Wa. How could they help him? Once they joined, they would only be cannon fodder and wouldn't be of much help. Grand Tutors Wa was also anxious. He had no choice but to summon the divine sword of Mount Song. He became one with the sword and slashed out a stunning strike, breaking through Yu Huijin's blockade. He transformed into a sword beam and fled. Interesting, Yu Huijin said. Yu Huijin said. A scimitar appeared in his hand, and he slashed towards Grand Tutors Wa. The scimitar was like the moon, cold light thousands of miles away. Ah! Grand Tutors Wa let out a miserable cry, leaving behind an arm. Blood splattered across the sky. He continued to flee with all his might, afraid that he would lose his life if he was too slow. The number one person of the Five Mountain sect, Grand Tutors Wa, had been defeated. He had been utterly defeated. Yu Huijin chased after him. Yang Wu ignored him. If he could get rid of the number one person of the Five Mountain sects, it would be a good thing for him to reach the top of Mount Hung. As for the other heavenly reaching experts, they were no longer a threat. It was just that Yang Wu hadn't had his fill yet. If the dead Huang Jizi knew what Yang Wu was thinking, he definitely wouldn't have challenged Yang Wu alone. This guy was too much of a freak. The heavenly reaching experts retreated, taking their men with them. Those who didn't make it in time were killed by Ning Zhoujing and two other heavenly reaching experts. They had launched a large-scale attack on Mount Hing. How could they not pay a certain price? The Mount Hing sect held on. They looked at the sorry state around them, but their mood didn't improve at all. The Five Mountain sect was going to fall apart from today onward. Once the Five Mountain sect was separated, they would no longer be able to compete with the other superpowers. They couldn't care less about that now. They had to think about what to do next. Shu Yuqing and the other heavenly reaching experts returned to the sect's meeting hall. Yang Wu had to avoid suspicion and couldn't participate, but Shu Yuqing called him over. The other heavenly reaching experts of the Mount Hing sect didn't mind. After all, it was Yang Wu who had saved their sect. It didn't matter if he came over to listen. After entering the hall, the first to speak wasn't Shu Yuqing, but Ning Zhoujing. He said, Mount Hing is in trouble today. It's all thanks to young Master Yang Wu coming to help. I thank young Master on behalf of all of Mount Hing. Ning Zhoujing was a level 5 Jade Moon cultivator. Him kneeling to Yang Wu was enough to represent Mount Heng. Even sect leader Shu Yuqing couldn't compare. Yang Wu quickly stopped Ning Zhoujing. Elder Ning, you can't be like this. Since you call me young master, then I'm half a member of Mount Heng. Also, this matter is related to me. I can't just stand by and watch. What did you say? You have something to do with the Mount Heng sect? A heavenly reaching expert of Mount Heng shouted. This was the heavenly reaching expert Xie Zhanjuan who had rushed back from outside. His strength was only one level lower than Ning Zhoujing's. Before Ning Zhoujing obtained the immortal elixir and broke through, this Xie Guokai was the stabilizing force of the Mount Heng sect. Zhanjuan, don't make a fuss over nothing. Listen to me carefully. Ning Zhoujing stopped Xie Zhangong from flipping out, then calmly told him the whole story. He had long been aware of the Five Mountains Sword Sutra and had been cultivating it. The Five Mountains Sword Manual really does exist. Could the legends be true? Xie Zhanjuan exclaimed. Another heavenly reaching expert also said in a low voice, no wonder Grand Preceptors came out of seclusion. I'm afraid there's no one in the Five Mountains sect who wouldn't be jealous. Yes, young master can't be blamed for this. We were too anxious. Ning Zhoujing sighed. Shu Yuqing took the initiative to apologize and said, if I didn't covet the position of alliance leader, this wouldn't have happened. It's my fault. I'm willing to bear the blame. No, Yuqing, you're already the alliance leader of the Five Mountains. You've brought honor to our Mount Heng. Ever since our old sect leader won the position of alliance leader 5,000 years ago, our Mount Heng has never been able to be the alliance leader. You've brought honor to our Mount Heng. Ning Zhoujing said. Then what should we do next? Shu Yuqing also didn't know what to do. The Five Mountains sect had always been united. Now that this had happened, it would be difficult for them to work together again. Let's seal the sect. An old heavenly reaching expert said in a low voice. That's right. After this battle, we will all die. Seal the sect for 100 years. After 100 years, you will all have some success in your cultivation and won't be afraid of the other sections. Another old heavenly reaching expert said. There were a total of 4 old heavenly reaching experts. They had always been in seclusion, hanging on to their last bit of life force. After the battle with Grand Preceptor Zhua, 2 of them had completely fallen. Only the 2 of them were left. Their lives had come to an end and they no longer had the strength to protect Mount Heng. After they died, Mount Heng still had Ning Zhoujing, Xie Zhanjuan, and the other heavenly reaching experts. However, compared to the other 3 sects, they were still too weak. If Grand Preceptor Zhua didn't die, they would definitely be finished. As long as Grand Preceptor Zhua is dead, we don't need to seal the sect. Ning Zhoujing glanced at Yang Wu and said. They only hoped that the woman who came with Yang Wu could kill Grand Preceptor Zhua. I think we should let the 2 Grand Elders recover their vitality first before we talk about the rest. Yang Wu said and took out 2 drops of immortal liquid. These 2 drops of immortal liquid can help the other 2 Grand Elders live a little longer. Shu Yuqing and Ning Zhoujing's eyes lit up. They both knew that this immortal liquid was extraordinary. Young master, we appreciate your kindness. Our lifespans have come to an end. Any divine items are useless. Don't, it's useful. Chapter 1471. When Yang Wu gave the Mount Heng sect a betrothal gift to marry Shu Yujun, he gave them 3 drops of immortal elixir. Shu Yuqing and Ning Zhoujing had heard about the extraordinary effects of the immortal elixir, but they did not believe it. After each of them took a drop, they realized that Yang Wu was telling the truth. Shu Yuqing's strength had increased exponentially, and Ning Zhoujing had also broken through to the next realm. Both of them had gained enough benefits to realize that the immortal elixir was indeed an item with the word immortal in it. They only had 1 drop of immortal elixir left, and they did not offer it to the 4 old farts who were in seclusion. It was not that they did not want to hide it, nor was it that they did not want to save them. It was just that they only had 1 drop left, and they could only save it for a critical moment. Perhaps it should be given to Xie to break through to the next realm. After all, Xie lifespan was longer than the 4 old farts. For the sake of the sect, they still kept the last drop of immortal elixir. Now, Yang Wu had offered to give them 2 more drops of immortal elixir. How could they refuse? Shu Yuqing did not hesitate to snatch the 2 drops of immortal elixir from Yang Wu. He handed them to the 2 Grand Elders and said, "Grand Elders, whether it is useful or not, you should drink it first. There is no point in saying more. Sai, I know you are filial, but this divine elixir is really not very useful. It is better to leave it for you." One of the old farts sighed softly. "That's right. We have lived long enough. We cannot waste any more of the sect's resources," the other old fart said. They only thought about the sect. It was obvious how deep their feelings for the sect were. "Grand Elders, don't refuse any more. If the young master can take it out, he must have some hidden goods. Try it first." Ning Zhoujing also persuaded them. The 2 old farts took the 2 drops of immortal elixir skeptically. Then, the lethargy on their bodies instantly shrunk, and their vitality increased rapidly. It gave them a big fright. This power is so strong. It is not an ordinary divine elixir. Could it really be a divine elixir? My lifespan is increasing. After each of them said this, they rushed toward the seclusion room. They were so fast that everyone else was stunned. The effect is that obvious? Xie Zhanjuan and the other Grand Elders' eyes flashed with surprise. "If the 2 Grand Elders also want it, as long as you take out something of equal value, we can also exchange it." Yang Wu looked at them and said. Xie and Grand Elders' eyes widened, and they did not react for a moment. "Let's switch," Ning Zhoujing said before the 2 of them could reply. But the old farts was Zhojin, and Zhuzhausing's Zhoujing. If Zhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhozhoz It. Do. Je do. Je. No, je, the, it. He, the je. Furthermore, immortal elixirs were priceless in the transcendental realm. Others might want to trade, but he might not be willing to do so. It was still unknown if Mount Hung could take out a divine item of equal value. He only said this because he did not want them to think that there was such a thing as a free lunch in this world. Yang Wu suggested that they take out some divine medicines and saintly medicines in exchange. As a divine alchemist, he could use them. Heng Shan didn't have any objections and went to collect these medicinal ingredients as quickly as possible. Afterwards, they returned to the original topic of whether or not Mount Heng should be sealed off. It was also at this time that Yu Huijin returned. She actually failed to catch Grand Tutor Zhua. Yang Wu frowned and said, "You are stronger than him. Why did you let him escape?" Yu Huijin replied honestly, "His divine sword's level is not low. When he burned his life to escape, I couldn't stop him. However, he was heavily injured by me. He won't be able to recover to his peak state in a short period of time." Then let's leave it at that for now," Yang Wu replied softly. Then he said to everyone present, "Grand Tutor Zhuo was not killed, but I am no longer a threat. Moreover, father-in-law took the position of alliance head. We should not give it up. We should suppress them and take back the position of alliance head. Once the mountain is sealed off, it will be difficult to wash away the shame of Mount Hung. Moreover, the 5 mountain sects will disappear. In the future, all the crimes will be placed on the Mount Heng sect." "What are some crimes? As long as Mount Heng's disciples can survive, we will have a chance to rise again," Xie Zhanjuan said. "I feel that young master's words are reasonable. If we retreat this time, our Mount Heng sect will have to withdraw from the stage of the transcendental realm. This will greatly affect the cultivation of the Mount Heng sect's disciples." Another heavenly master said, "Grand Tutor Zhua is heavily injured and we have hostages. If they don't recognize you as alliance head, we will kill all of the hostages." Ning Zhoujing replied with a ruthless expression. Killing a few of them is enough to shake the foundations of the 3 major sections. Shu Yuqing said. It might be better to use the carrot and stick. On one hand, we can use the hostages to threaten them. On the other hand, we can use a portion of the 5 Mountain Sword Sutra to rope in Mount Heng, Mount Hua, and the other sections. This will definitely break the alliance of the 3 sections. Yang Wu analyzed. After everyone heard this, their faces were filled with joy. Yang Wu's idea was good. Now, it was impossible for them to monopolize the 5 Mountain Sword Sutra. Unless Mount Heng sealed itself off or became an independent faction, it would be possible for them to no longer be a member of the 5 Mountain sect. However, this choice was not the best. The 5 Mountain Sword Sutra was no longer a secret. The other sects would definitely not let it go. There were also some powerful factions that cultivated in sword technique. They might even get involved in the fight for it. Mount Heng would not be able to defend itself. Any one of the 5 Mountain sects' sword sutras was first-rate. Now that the 5 sword sutras were combined, it was definitely comparable to one of the top sword sutras in the transcendental world. There would definitely be many factions eyeing it. The 5 Mountain Sword Sutra did indeed belong to the 5 Mountain sect. If they could take out a portion of it, it would naturally be for the best. Moreover, the other sects did not know if the Sword Sutra was complete. When they became dominant in the future, it would be too late for them to realize. The son-in-law is capable. Xie Zhanjuan could not help but give Yang Wu a thumbs up. Yeah, Yang Wu can fight Tongtian. He's also a godly apothecary. It won't be a problem for him to catch up to Xiang Dingtian. Ning Zhoujing agreed. You're all praising me so much that my face is red. I'll be staying at Mount Heng for a few days. If you need any help, just let me know. After Yang Wu said this, he left the hall, leaving the people of Mount Heng alone. Yuqing, this son-in-law of yours is really something. Xie Zhanjuan looked at Shu Yuqing and said, Yeah, if not for him, the consequences of our Mount Heng sect would be unimaginable. Another Tongtian said, For us to be able to survive this ordeal, this son-in-law has done a great service. Ning Zhoujing added. Shu Yuqing said with pride, Haha, it's all because that child Yujun has good eyesight. She could tell at a glance that he was not ordinary. She pursued him when he was still in the Earthsea realm. At that time I had some objections. Yeah, luckily I didn't miss him. Whether or not our Mount Heng can take off is definitely related to him. After that, Yang Wu did not participate in the Mount Heng sect's affairs. Instead, he toured the Mount Heng sect's territory with Shu Yujun. The two of them had been together for a long time, but they had not been idle. They took advantage of this opportunity to walk around and relax their mind. This was more beneficial to their cultivation. Shu Yujun also calmed down from her nervous state. Her face glowed with a moving luster. These past few nights, she had discussed the true meaning of life with Yang Wu. She increasingly felt the beauty and joy of being a woman. After absorbing Yang Wu's essence, she became even more beautiful and moving. How good would it be if things could continue like this? Shu Yujun held Yang Wu's hand and sighed with emotion. Yeah, it will. Once everything calms down, you can come and stay with us. Yang Wu held Shu Yujun's hand tightly. He felt pity for this stubborn woman. He did not want her to suffer any harm. Shu Yujun was already Yang Wu's wife. She should be staying with the Yang family. She softly replied, Before she goes, is it appropriate for me to go? Only the two of them knew who she was talking about. A complicated expression appeared on Yang Wu's face. There's nothing inappropriate about it. After returning from the Divine Firmament battlefield, he did not go to the Purple Firmament Hall again. It was not that he had already let go of her, but that his master had already told him that Yu was probably not in the Purple Firmament Hall. Even if he went there, it would be useless. Perhaps she had already gone to the Divine Realm. They would probably only be able to reunite in the Divine Realm. It was because of this that he suppressed those feelings in his heart and did not go to the purple firmament hall again. He would wait until he broke through to the Jade Moon realm before going there to ask. Shu Yujun leaned on his shoulder and said, "Don't worry, she will be fine. You two will reunite one day." Yang Wu put an arm around her shoulder and said, "You don't blame me for being too greedy? What's there to blame? From the first day I was with you, I knew that I would not be the only one by your side." Shu Yujun replied. She paused for a moment before continuing, "We cultivators have a long life ahead of us. There aren't many people who can accompany us all the time. It's good that I can stay by your side. Compared to her, I'm already very fortunate." Yang Wu did not expect Shu Yujun to be so considerate. He felt extremely gratified and felt that marrying this wife was a kind of fortune. The two of them chatted about some matters regarding the Heng Mountain sect before slowly walking back. In the past few days, the news that the Heng Mountain sect had the 5 Mountains Sword Manual had spread. The Heng Mountain sect repelled the encirclement of Mount Song, Mount Tai, and Mount Hua. These matters were also faintly discernible. For a time, the Heng Mountain sect became the focus of the transcendent world's attention. Many swordsmen yearned for the 5 Mountains Sword Manual. They were all wondering if they should fish in troubled waters and see if they had the chance to see the mysterious elegance of the 5 Mountains Sword Manual. On this day, Li Mubai, known as the #1 sword in the world, arrived at the Heng Mountain sect. Chapter 1472. The world's #1 sword. This was not a title that anyone could have. Li Mubai, the #1 expert from Shushan. His swordsmanship was unparalleled, and he had defeated countless swordsmen to obtain this title. The sword gods that had been defeated by him were Eternal Life Sword God, Ame Shurtai Miju, 5 Mountain Sects Grand Preceptor Zhua, and other overlords. Li Mubai's sudden arrival at the Heng Mountain sect attracted the attention of many experts. Li Mubai had been famous for many years and was ranked as one of the top 10 experts in the transcendent realm. His every move was closely watched. A handsome and elegant middle-aged man on a sword looked at him with his back facing the sun. It was as if a sword immortal had descended. His outstanding demeanor was truly impressive. Walking alongside him was a man dressed in black. He carried a demonic sword on his back. With a wild expression, he looked at the middle-aged man and said, "Li Mubai, once you've seen the 5 Mountains Sword Manual, you'll fight with me. This time, you won't be able to escape." There were only a few people who dared to challenge the world's #1 sword, and the person in front of him was one of them. He was known as the Sword Demon. No one knew his origin or real name. They only knew that he used the sword like a demon. He had challenged many swordsmen and killed many of them. He was known as the expert closest to the first heaven. For many years, the Sword Demon had been challenging Li Mubai. There were not many rumors about who was stronger, but more people believed that the title of the world's #1 sword could not be shaken. In this world, there was no one who was better at using the sword than Li Mubai. Li Mubai looked at the Sword Demon and smiled faintly. If the 5 Mountain Sword Manual is combined, perhaps the world's #1 sword will be in the 5 Mountain sect. Since you think so highly of the 5 Mountain Sword Manual, then I'll have to take a look at it," the Sword Demon said excitedly. "Don't mess around. I'm a swordsman. I'm not allowed to do such things," Li Mubai advised. Hee, that's your way of doing things, Li Mubai. It's not my way of doing things," the Sword Demon said and quickly flew towards the Heng Mountain sect. His speed was as fast as a flying sword. Li Mubai watched from behind with a faint smile on his face. Even Imperial Tutor Zhua had to run away pathetically. "Sword Demon, you won't have it easy." When the Sword Demon approached Mount Heng, a beautiful figure blocked his path. It was none other than Yu Huaijin. "Do not approach." Yu Huaijin looked at Sword Demon and said faintly, I am not an idle person. I am the Sword Demon. My sword has a demon. I can kill a god with one sword." The sword demon laughed crazily. He pulled out his sword and slashed towards Yu Huaijin. I don't care if you're the sword demon or the sword god. It's all useless against me. Yu Huaijin shouted. She raised her hand and grabbed out. A tearing power shattered the shocking sword light. Yu Huaijin came from the god realm, and his battle prowess was extraordinary. People like Yama Ox, Lei Yaoxian, and Grand Tutor Zhuo were no match for him. Even Sword Demon did not pose much of a threat to him. The Sword Demon did not think much of it. He refined the sword into a demon. His demonic sword path had reached a very high level. He slashed out again and again. His bloodthirsty sword path enveloped the heaven and earth, wanting to shatter the heaven and earth. The sword demon's demonic sword path was filled with demonic chi. The demonic sword path's power was very terrifying. It was much stronger than Imperial Tutor's was battle prowess. Yu Huaijin did not dare to underestimate the sword demon. She slashed out with her curved blade, forcing the sword demon to retreat. At this moment Li Mubai came. He pulled out his sword without hesitation. A sword aura crossed the sky and broke the distance between Yu Huaijin and the sword demon. The sword aura slashed across, and the sword mark did not disappear for a long time. Yu Huaijin raised her head and looked at Li Mubai. She murmured, "Sword Heart Illumination Realm. No, it should be the Selfless Sword Realm." Selfless Sword Realm, this was the highest realm of the sword path. This realm could only be reached by a pure sword cultivator. This was the sword god that no one could reach. There were very few sword cultivators in the immortal realm who could reach this realm. She did not expect that there would be one in this place. The sword demon that she just fought with was also infinitely close to this realm. The transcendent realm actually had something special. Perhaps it was hiding some big secret. I did not know that Lord Li Mubai was here. Sorry for not going out to meet you. Ning Zhoujing and Xie Zhanjuan came over and greeted him. Li Mubai did not care about the two of them. Instead, he looked at Yu Huaijin and asked, "May I know where you are from?" There were not many overlords in the transcendent realm. He had basically met all of them. The only one he had not met was Yu Huaijin. "Li Mubai, are you trying to hit on her? Let's see if you have the ability to do so." The sword demon carried his sword and said with a mocking expression. Then, he flew towards Ning Zhoujing and Xie Zhanjuan and shouted, "Hand over the 5-mountain sword manual. Let me see it." The sword demon's chi was still very scary. Ning Zhoujing and Xie Zhanjuan were not his opponent. Fortunately, Yu Huaijin was here, so he could not forcefully injure them. "You two can come at me together." Yu Huaijin looked at Li Mubai and the sword demon and said. As long as the two of them were not at the peak of the Jade Moon realm, she had no reason to be afraid. Unless she met an expert like Hao Run or Dao Lao Er, she could ignore the people in the transcendent realm. Such big words. "Do you really think I can't kill you?" The sword demon's body was overflowing with sword chi. He stared at Yu Huaijin with a thick killing intent. He was very fond of such a powerful opponent. Just as Li Mubai was about to speak, Yang Wu had already arrived in the air. "Young master." Yu Huaijin bowed slightly when she saw Yang Wu. Both Li Mubai and Sword Demon were shocked at the same time. Such a beautiful woman actually called the young man in front of them as young master. Did that mean that she respected him? "Yang Wu of the Yang family?" Li Mubai asked when he saw Yang Wu. Yang Wu cupped his hands and said, "Yes, that is me." He then said, "Seniorly, are you trying to force me to hand over the 5-mountain sword manual?" "I, Li Mubai, would not do such a thing. I just want to use my sword skills to compete with the 5-mountain sword manual. The 5-mountain sword manual has been combined, so the sword skills must have been combined as well. There must be something extraordinary about it," Li Mubai said calmly. "Li Mubai, you're such a hypocrite. Who doesn't know that you have a photographic memory? You can learn most of the sword skills that you've seen. For someone as shameless as you to say such beautiful words, it's really admirable. Sword Demon said, pausing for a moment before continuing, but I like opponents like you. Okay, then I will let you see the 5 Mountain Sword Manual. Yang Wu answered and then shouted, Yujun, come here. Let me see the 5 Mountain Sword Manual. Wuguna flew over with Shu Yujun on his back. When Li Mubai and the Sword Demon saw Wuguna, their eyes widened. They were both overlords and had seen many things. They could see that this crow was different from others. The pure dark power was very obvious. Its bloodline must be very ancient. After Wuguna came out of the Divine Firmament battlefield, it had changed a lot. Its cultivation level had also increased a lot. The Divine Firmament battlefield was a broken place. It was not as complete as the Transcendence laws. After coming here, it could devour the complete dark power and start a new round of evolution. Shu Yujun got down from Wuguna and bowed to Li Mubai and the Sword Demon. Greetings, seniors. You know the 5 Mountain Sword Manual? Li Mubai asked Shu Yujun. Shu Yujun nodded. I know. Okay, draw your sword at me, said Li Mubai. Shu Yujun glanced at Yang Wu. After Yang Wu nodded, she drew her sword and attacked Li Mubai. When she drew her sword, Li Mubai and the Sword Demon's eyes lit up. Sword Heart as one. This was a sword cultivation level. Sword Chi, Sword Intent, Sword Tao, Sword Heart, Sword Soul, and no sword, no self. Shu Yujun had not only reached the Star Rune realm at such a young age, but she had also comprehended the Sword Tao and condensed the Sword Heart. She had the potential to be a sword cultivator. If Shu Yujun was a sword cultivator who had lived for hundreds or even thousands of years, they would not think much of it. But Shu Yujun was only 50 years old. To have such achievements was no small matter. Li Mubai and the Sword Demon were both sword cultivators. They could see that Shu Yujun was very sincere towards the Sword Tao. Only with sincerity could one condense the Sword Heart. This was a good seedling. Shu Yujun made her move. She did not use any power and only used her sword skills. She attacked the world's #1 sword one move after another. This was a rare honor that not everyone could have. One had to know that many people wanted to draw their sword at Li Mubai, but before the sword could be drawn, it would be broken. The world's #1 sword was not an undeserved reputation. Shu Yujun did not use any power, so Li Mubai did not use any. Moreover, he could not attack. He was the world's #1 sword cultivator. He could not afford to lose face if he attacked a female sword cultivator who was not even 50 years old. The 5 Mountain Sword Manual was paired with the 5 Mountain Sword Manual. Every sword was incomparably exquisite. Sometimes it was majestic, sometimes it was strange. Countless sword flowers surged, as if there were 5 huge mountains suppressing the mountains and rivers. It was hard to resist. Li Mubai and the Sword Demon were infatuated. This was definitely a top-notch sword skill, or even an ancient sword skill. Otherwise, it would not have such power. Shu Yujun was unable to use all of her sword skills. Some of them were too profound for her to comprehend. This is the 5 Mountain Sword technique. Senior, are you satisfied? Shu Yujun asked after she stopped. As expected of the 5 Sacred Mountains sword technique. It is completely condensed from the aura of the 5 sacred mountains of the north, south, east, west, and central sacred mountains. If one does not reside within the 5 sacred mountains, one will not be able to sense the majestic sword aura, nor will one be able to sense the dangerous aura. Li Mubai sighed. After a pause, he stared at Shu Yujun and said, "Are you willing to be my Li Mubai's disciple?" Everyone was instantly stunned. Only the Sword Demon said loudly, "Hey, Li Mubai, you are from Shu Mountain. How can you accept a disciple from Heng Mountain sect as your disciple? Girl, quickly acknowledge me as your master. I will do my best to teach you to become the world's #1 sword cultivator." Chapter 1473. Number 1 Sword and Sword Demon were fighting over a disciple at the same time. This was something that no one had expected. Even Yang Wu was stunned. He had hoped that Shu Yujun would use the 5 Sacred Mountains sword technique to satisfy Li Mubai and Sword Demon's curiosity. Then, he would be able to send them away openly. After all, Yu Huaijin was here, so the two of them did not dare to be too presumptuous. Who would have thought that the two of them would fight over a disciple? Everything was going well at first, but Sword Demon's temper flared up and he attacked Li Mubai. Li Mubai was known as the number 1 sword in the world. Naturally, he was not to be trifled with. In that battle, the two swords clashed non-stop, displaying stunning sword technique. It was really an eye-opener. Yu Huaijin saw the two of them go all out and commented, "They are not inferior to me. If they go all out, I might even lose." She was a goddess from the god realm. There was no need to talk about her battle technique. To give the two of them such a high evaluation, it was obvious how brilliant their sword techniques were. Li Mubai's understanding of the sword had already reached the peak. His every move was a sword, and sword chi was constantly being produced. His understanding of the sword Dao was above Sword Demon's. However, Sword Demon's sword was unconventional, and his demon's sword was awe-inspiring. This could make up for his lack of understanding of the sword Dao. In the end, the two of them did not fight to the death, nor did they decide the winner. However, everyone present could see that Li Mubai was indeed better than Sword Demon. He fought more easily, while Sword Demon seemed to be struggling. After this battle, Shu Yujun decided to take Sword Demon as her master. This decision made Li Mubai somewhat disappointed. However, he quickly became carefree again. Shu Mountain's sword Dao is indeed not suitable for you. Then, he looked at Sword Demon and said, "Don't mislead her." After that, he left on his sword. The number 1 sword in the world had failed to take in a disciple for the first time. If this matter were to spread, who knew how many people would be shocked? They would definitely scold Shu Yujun for being an idiot. With such a great opportunity, why did she choose Sword Demon, who was slightly weaker than Li Mubai? Shu Yujun naturally had her own reasons for making this decision. Sword Demon was a lone cultivator, and not a big shot from any faction. It would be best for her to acknowledge him as her master. As her master, he would naturally become the grand guardian of the Mount Hing sect. When Mount Hing was in danger, would he not lend a hand? Although the Jianghu people did not have a good impression of the Sword Demon, it was not that bad. He was a person who was both good and evil. With him overseeing the Mount Hing sect, the sect has nothing to worry about. If she took Li Mubai as her master, Li Mubai would not stay and would send her to Shushan. She would no longer be able to call herself a member of the Mount Hing sect. It was because of this consideration that she made this decision. Yang Wu, Ning Zhoujing, and the rest all felt that her decision was too smart. No matter how great Li Mubai's reputation was, what was the use if he was not of much help to the Heng Mountain sect? They did not think that Shu Yujun would fully help the Heng Mountain sect. Perhaps, in the future, Shu Mountain sect would use some reason to take the 5 Mountains Sword Sutra for themselves. Regardless of whether or not they were measuring the heart of a gentleman with the yardstick of a villain, they had to take precautions. Shu Yujun taking the Sword Demon as her master caused a stir in the Mount Hing sect. Some people were worried that the Sword Demon would covet the 5 Mountains Sword Sutra. After all, if someone of his level really wanted to take it by force, who could stop him? They did not want to have the wolf come after they had just driven the tiger away. The Sword Demon was very interested in the 5 Mountains Sword Sutra, but at his current level, he could not rashly change to another cultivation method. He had indeed taken a liking to Shu Yujun's talent in the sword and planned to properly nurture her. As Shu Yujun's husband, Yang Wu naturally had the responsibility to check on her and meet the Sword Demon alone. Senior Sword Demon, I don't care if you are sincere or not in wanting to take the Rain Lord as your disciple. I have to tell you that there are countless sword sutras in the world, not just the 5 Mountains Sword Sutra. If you ruin your sword cultivation for a Sword Sutra, then the gains will not make up for the losses. Yang Wu vaguely said. The Sword Demon looked at Yang Wu with a playful expression and said, "Are you warning me?" "No, I believe that Senior Sword Demon also has a unique cultivation method and will not really take the 5 Mountains Sword Sutra to heart. It's just that you have not seen the real 5 Mountains Sword Sutra, so I'm afraid that your heart will feel uncomfortable. It's like a hoodlum seeing a beauty and not being able to take liberties with her." Yang Wu analyzed. The analogy is not bad. Then what do you want to say? You want me to give up on taking her as my disciple and immediately scram? No, I know that Senior sincerely wants to take my wife as your disciple, so I plan to give you a gift. You are a godly apothecary. Could it be that you plan to give me a godly pill? No, I will give you the chant of the 5 Mountains Sword Sutra. What? The 5 Mountains Sword Sutra was deduced by Yang Wu, so he naturally knew the chant. However, back then, he only deduced the individual chants of the 5 mountains and did not combine the 5 chants. However, after reaching Shu Yuqing's place, they made new deductions based on some secret techniques passed down from their ancestors and found a way to combine the chant. As for whether it was complete or not, they were not sure. However, the power of the sword technique had greatly increased. Today, after Yang Wu returned, he could already deduce the 5 Mountains Sword Sutra again. He refined the Emperor Jade Xian essence and improved the Supreme 9 mystic arts to another level. It was not too difficult for him to deduce the 5 Mountains Sword Sutra. This was indeed a Sword Sutra of the true God realm. Its origin was not small and it was very profound. In the past few days, when he went out to play with Shu Yujun, the two of them had also interacted. Yang Wu realized that the 5 Mountains Sword Sutra that Shu Yujun and the others cultivated was not complete. There were still many loopholes. Therefore, he passed the chant that he deduced to Shu Yujun and warned her not to easily pass it on again. Their Mount Heng had already suffered once, so she naturally knew to be cautious. Now, Yang Wu wanted to pass on the chant to Sword Demon. Naturally, it was not complete. After all, they had just met and it was impossible for him to completely trust Sword Demon. He only did this to dispel Sword Demon's intentions of making a move on Shu Yujun. Sword Demon did not expect Yang Wu to really tell him the chant of the 5 Mountains Sword Sutra. After he memorized the chant, he could immediately determine the authenticity of the chant. There was no doubt that it was the 5 Mountains Sword Sutra, but he did not know if it was complete or not. This is only a Sword Sutra that can be cultivated to the 9 Yang realm. Furthermore, there are still some areas that are incomplete. Senior Sword Demon, it was not easy for you to reach your current realm. If you were to cultivate the 5 Mountains Sword Sutra, I'm afraid the gains would not make up for the losses. However, in order to prevent unnecessary friction between you and Yujun, it is most suitable for me to pass on the chant to you. Whether you cultivate it or not is your business. I only hope that you can teach Yujun well, Yang Wu said sincerely. Aren't you afraid that I will make a move on her after taking her in as a disciple? If I was afraid, I wouldn't have let her take you as her master. Haha, no wonder she has such achievements at such a young age. This boldness is indeed not something that others can have. I, Sword Demon, have refined the sword my entire life and am crazy about it. I will definitely not do anything that goes against my sword Tao. Since I have taken her in as a disciple, I will definitely pass on the strongest sword Tao to her. You can rest assured, Sword Demon promised. Alright. If Senior Sword Demon has any instructions, Yang Wu will definitely do his best. I don't have any other skills, but my alchemy skills are passable, Yang Wu replied. I have long heard that you and Xiang Dingtian are unparalleled in alchemy and martial arts. If there is a need, I will not stand on ceremony with you. Then I will have to trouble Senior Yujun. Shu Yujun's apprenticeship ceremony was wantonly organized by Mount Heng. They were naturally doing this for the other 4 mountain sects to see. They had Sword Demon as their backer. Anyone who wanted to covet the 5 Mountains Sword Sutra would have to think twice. In addition, after the 2 old farts of Mount Heng consumed the immortal elixir, their lifespans were greatly extended. One of them even had a breakthrough and his strength increased greatly. They were already enough to protect Mount Heng. They personally came to thank Yang Wu and even took out many divine and sage medicines with Ning Zhoujing, Xie Zhanjuan, and the others to give to Yang Wu in exchange for 2 drops of immortal elixir. Yang Wu did not stand on ceremony and accepted them all. These heaven-reaching old monsters had a lot of treasures. The things they contributed were enough for him to refine some divine elixirs. He did not care much about the value of the immortal elixir. Yang Wu could not stay in Mount Heng forever. After a few days of pleasure with Shu Yujun, he began his return journey. When Yang Wu left, the many heaven-reaching experts of Mount Heng came out to send him off. They had no choice. This young master was too capable. Without him, there would be no Mount Heng. If they did not send him off, it would not be respectful. Unknowingly, Yang Wu already had the ability to change the structure of the transcendent realm. After bidding farewell to them, Yang Wu returned to the Yang family. When he returned, the clan was in a mess. Nan Nan, the little devil, brought along Yang Zixing and Yang Yuan, and caused chaos among the youths and children of the clan. Nan Nan was already a young girl. She was beautiful and generous. After she came to the Yang family, she had always been with Surome. It was only recently that she walked out of the haze of her master's death. She wanted to find Yang Wu, but Yang Wu was not in the clan. Thus, she bumped into Yang Zixing. Yang Zixing was born with a divine fetus. He was the devil incarnate in the clan, and many of the children were unable to control him. Later, Yang Zixing met Yang Yuan. He took a fancy to Yang Yuan's little evil dragon and wanted to snatch it away. Yang Yuan naturally refused, and the 2 of them fought. Yang Yuan was not a match for Yang Zixing, and the little evil dragon was almost snatched away. It was Nan Nan who appeared to help him out. Later, for some unknown reason, this young girl and 2 little brats got together and began to harm the youths and children of the clan. Originally, many youths of the Yang family had taken a fancy to Nan Nan. In the end, Nan Nan ordered Yang Zixing to attack those youths, beating them until they cried for their parents. She also ordered Yang Yuan to challenge other children, beating up those who were slightly older than him until their noses and faces were swollen, causing chaos in the martial arts field. They all had powerful backgrounds, and no one dared to interfere. Fortunately, the clan leader returned.